Cool. So we're recording now. So we'll make this part of the meeting public. And just you and I so far, Dana, pretty amazing. I think, we'll have to see who shows up. A few people told me late today that they wouldn't be here, but I certainly was expecting some people here. So we'll see who else might saunter in a little bit. So it's great that you are here, our new Leadership Council member. And I totally appreciate and honor the connection and the creation, of you being here. I know, just to kind of, since you're about to introduce yourself, but to, the video rather than other Leadership Council members, I'm thinking actually let's hold off on the introduction a little longer. Let's see, who else might join us. And maybe I'll make actually, I'm not going to send any messages because I sent a message this afternoon, the same one that you got. So, but anyways, interesting experience. Sure, we'll see how it flows from here. But let's start diving into, okay, we have Rico. At least we have a third now. We'll see where we go from here. That's great. Hey, Rico, how are you?
Hey.
How's it going? We're recording now. Let me introduce you to Dana. Dana, Rico, I'm glad you guys are getting to connect.
Hi, Rico. Nice to meet you.
So I think
that's an interesting background you got there. It's pretty cool. You got like all blurred out.
Yeah, it's one of the options.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I definitely
seem to be on some kind of Jewish temple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Dana actually introduce himself now that you're here, Rico, since it'd be a little awkward if he wasn't while you're here. So Dana, please, let me start to introduce you, to everybody who's going to see this. I want to first, thank and acknowledge Angie, who connected me with George and the Purpose Alliance, and that's where you and I met, Dana, at the Purpose Alliance meeting. And even in the chat beforehand, as I shared with you, when I watched your introduction video, I really felt a strong, resonance with you and really felt the energy. And then in the meeting, we both shared how it was, like this knowingness, and we've had this, energetic connection. We are on such a similar wavelength on so many things. So I just want to honor and appreciate you for, you showing up in my world in this way, like right when I'm looking to, be at my highest performance level, and you're all about clearing the blockages, which is amazing. It's just like so perfect, and so perfect as we'll get into the complementary aspects of the solutions with Uniting for Action and the support. And so, Rico, I'm excited to share with you, what I've been thinking about with that and where we're going to go with that. But with that, let me introduce Dana and just, thank you for your presence. Thank you for all the work that you've done in your life to be able to be holding the energy and consciousness that you are now, because, I've connected with a lot of people. I've known a lot of people, and you're definitely very, special in the energy and the consciousness that you're holding, Dana. So I honor and appreciate you, and I'm really excited that you're now part of the Leadership Council with us.
Cool. Thank you so much, Jared. I'd be happy to introduce myself a little bit. The connection that Jared and I shared immediately was very felt by both of us in the Purpose Alliance meeting. I started kind of catching the vibrational wind of that really quickly. And then when Jared mentioned the aerospace engineering aspect of his background and whatnot, there's just so many synchronicities that took place there. So anyways, as for my introduction, my name is Dana Smith. I'm currently living in Bali, Indonesia. And I am at this point 25 years around the sun, 25 rotations. And the primary brand that I'm working on is a brand called Lightcraft. It's a company, it's a brand, and it's a personal coaching business. But the approach that I take through this business is to focus really on clients' subconscious mind. So I'm focusing on one-on-one interactions, one-on-one energy exchanges. That's one of the primary things that I'm doing, although there's many things going on with Lightcraft. But what the goal through Lightcraft is to help individuals figure out what is going on in their subconscious mind that is limiting them and their potential and is creating boundaries to their expansion. I see this as completely natural. This is just a way that we grow and evolve. But Lightcraft introduces methodologies that allow somebody to analyze their subconscious mind from an objective standpoint and then to transmute those energies. So I'm coming from spiritually, I'm coming from more of like an occultic study background. I grew up in a non-religious household. I had a little bit of kind of new age philosophy sprinkled in throughout my childhood, but it was largely very non-spiritual. We didn't pray, you know, we didn't, I was introduced to The Secret when I was like 12. And that was like a major kind of thing in my childhood when it comes to spirituality and religious stuff. So a lot of my,
actually,
what's that?
The Secret was a big shift for me too, to get into that type of consciousness and law of attraction, all that. Yeah, please go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So I definitely was seated with the idea when I watched The Secret on reality creation and how our vibration, how our thoughts, how our emotions affect the life that we're living. And I left high school when I was 16, despite doing very well in school. You know, I could play that game very well, but I ended up leaving. And that's when really my true path began. And I started doing all of this occultic study stuff. And so throughout the years, it's eventually evolved into what is now Lightcraft. And again, Lightcraft is dedicated to sovereignty. It's dedicated to the liberation of each and every individual on a mental, physical, and emotional level. It's how can we optimize ourselves to become the superhero or the female version, the heroine of our story. So it definitely incorporates a non-competitive attitude, the philosophy itself, and more of a cooperative attitude, and seeing that you are the hero of your own journey. And so it's celebrating each and every individual for the uniqueness that they are. So that's Lightcraft in a nutshell.
It's awesome, man. It's so great. I really appreciate the way that you put it, and the way that you're packaging it, and the way that you're sharing it, the way that you're communicating it. It's really, really great. And I'm super excited to, keep diving in as we've been talking about. So awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really
I'm so excited to share more. And Rico, I would love to hear more about what you do as we continue on through this meeting. But Lightcraft to me is one of the ways that we're entering into the New Earth paradigm. The New Earth paradigm, this great transition of consciousness that we're going through as a human species right now, it's exactly that. It's a transition of consciousness. And so in order to transition our consciousness to a higher level where we can see things more clearly, we can process more information at a more rapid pace. We're not as constrained by ego and traumas and these types of things that warp our perspective, but we see opportunity everywhere. We see the gold everywhere. We see the light everywhere to just create a new world. Lightcraft is one kind of actor that's stepping up to open the gateway and open the door and just, welcome, like show the path of where we're going, the golden cities, the light cities, this place of creation and decentralization and freedom. But that first is unlocked within the mind. From my perspective, that's first unlocked within the individual, and then the individual becomes a conduit to start creating that within physical reality. So
that's great. I'm definitely ready to be unlocked. I need to, I've been recognizing more and more lately all of the obstacles and challenges that are, in my way of performing at my highest level, and therefore Uniting for Action performing at its highest level. It's like, as I'm pushing, I'm coming up against, what I'm coming up against. And so I'm glad that I've been taking those things on, and now even more so with you here, Dana, and holding that energy and all of that's really, really awesome. And because it's just the three of us, I want to give Rico an opportunity to introduce himself as well, so that you'll know Rico as well, and then we'll dive in. There's definitely a lot of stuff I want to cover tonight, but Rico, please, go ahead and share who you are and how you're here on this journey. It's funny, Rico, I've been seeing some of the pictures and videos and stuff from Higher Vibe Life. Like, I don't know if you remember like some of the stuff we have. It's really great. So I just had to throw that in. Yeah, go for it.
I have a question about Lightcraft. So how do you move humanity forward? Like what method, who are your clients, and like what do you offer as a service? Just
Right.
wanted to be clear on that.
Right. So there's multiple offerings that are being created or have already been created. So for example, I just launched my first webinar that happened last week. And that webinar was called How to Heal Your Family with Light Magic. There is a $30 entrance fee. It was a really amazing success. I couldn't be more happy with how it turned out. We had somewhere between 6 and 8 participants show up, and it was just high vibes the entire way through. And this is an example of presenting information and presenting practices to an audience-based, in an audience-based format of basically the philosophy of the light, the philosophy that, and this is my understanding of it. The first slide in the presentation is that I am not your guru. So I encourage critical thinking, independent thought, and analysis of the information yourself. However, through my own experience, I have started to gain access to an energy source within myself that has allowed me to liberate my consciousness to a very high degree. I suffered with depression and anxiety and all sorts of dysfunctional behavior for years of my life. And it is through these practices that I've been able to liberate myself and get myself to the healthy state that I'm in now. So one of the offerings is webinar and audience-based format events, both live virtually, and I'm also moving into live events in person. And then one-on-one sessions is more like kind of the high ticket item. And that's when I work with somebody one-on-one, and there's a series of questions, questionnaires, and basically I get to know the person on a very deep level. And what ends up happening is I step into a position of supreme service to that individual's growth. So that means going basically through our interaction, I will come to understand the client's subconscious mind on the deepest levels that I can. I will perform basically rituals and energetic techniques to communicate with them on a subconscious level to help them see anything that they may have a blind spot in, or they may be resisting, for example. So I get to know all the different aspects of the client's subconscious mind. I get to know their gatekeepers. I get to know their inner child. I get to know the parts of them that are traumatized and that are kind of stuck in stories and loops. And through the energy source that I teach people to tap into via meditation techniques, visualization techniques, that energy source within, which I call the core, you can call it the source of God within you, so on and so forth. But that is actually the primary healing agent. And all I'm doing, I'm watering those seeds of somebody's awareness level. Because healing, a principle within this practice is that healing comes from awareness. You have to feel it to heal it, these types of things. So you have to become aware of what is occurring in order to actually step out of programming and loops that are no longer serving you.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, Rico, because that was a great answer. That was a great explanation of what you do and what's available to us in the world. And so again, super excited to have you be a part of supporting people on the highest level in this way.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, and I can speak just a little bit more on it too. This incorporates also like the traditional chakra system, Rico. This incorporates, so what it is Lightcraft is my understanding and my offering of how reality works in this way. But it also seeks to understand the objective spiritual science of what it is to be a human being, what transmutation and the ancient art of alchemy really is. I believe that all of these religions, all of these spiritual systems, they're working with the same basic thing. You know, God or source consciousness is outside of categories. That's why people all over the world have their own spiritual systems, but yet those spiritual systems all have motifs and patterns embedded within them where it's all very similar. It's called, Aldous Huxley called it the perennial philosophy. It's the philosophy that exists all over the world and all throughout time. So within Lightcraft, we work with the chakras, for example. The chakras are a really big deal. And that's, if you have false programming within your chakras, or you have some type of warped perception going on within any of your chakras, that's going to affect the way that you perceive reality. It's going to affect the way that you're able to perform. It's going to affect your quality of thinking. It's going to affect the way that you respond to the outside environment and people and your family and your friends. And it's going to affect the way that you're able to hold the light, for example, and not get triggered and add fuel to a fire, but to hold space for that fire and basically allow the light to shine in any given situation. So we are working with these timeless concepts of the chakras, because the chakras, for example, are an objective reality. You can actually feel them. As I've healed myself, I can feel my heart chakra. I can feel my throat chakra. I can feel the subtle energies running through my meridians throughout my body. So when you actually start to sense and like in reality actually feel what is going on, that's when you gain a keen understanding of what these ancient spiritual sciences have been teaching for thousands of years. And it no longer becomes theoretical, it becomes real, and then it becomes a practice.
Awesome. Nice. I know a lot about these things as well. Not that much, but at least I have an understanding of them. I
Yeah.
would totally love to feel the chakras like within us, like.
Yeah, brother, I'd love to help you out with that and give you more information on it, on how you can become more aware of these things.
Awesome. So I actually work on meridians. I help people align their meridian channels with Thai body work, which is also like an ancient yogic practice. Right. So that's my primary dharma, right? Purpose for me to be like really good at that. And I'm already really set on that. But I also do business, and I have a lot of business projects. And then before I entered that world, this world of being a healer, I was working with Jared with an organization that was called Waking Hearts. And pretty simple. That was our goal, right? To wake up hearts.
Right.
And we did it through organizing events and gatherings and just like making artwork together and collaborating. So in that sense, we were collaborating with other groups as well. And one of them was Jared's group. And then he also collaborated with us, and we have like an affiliation. We shared contacts and networking and stuff like that. And then since then, I became really good friends with Jared, and I've been helping him kind of like redact all his material that he comes up with, just making it clear, more consumable and stuff like that. Kind of like it's like consulting and being like an ear that is present and stuff. So that's where we've been walking together on, and then this is kind of like where we're at with it. So Jared likes to do a lot of things in the shadows, like in the background. He does a lot of things. So then
I'm gonna show you something.
He checks in with me when he's about to like explode, express.
Right. Press the button.
He's like baby inventions of saving the world stuff. Because this is to save the world, really. Like, we're here meeting in jest, but we're here with one intention only. We're here to save the world.
That's exactly
That's
right.
very much like we're not like, that is a complete our purpose. And however we're gonna get, that is the question, right?
Right.
How we're gonna get there, how we're gonna help Gaia. How are we gonna lead to the next era of things? Because we know that this current era is like really messed up. I mean, it's clear. You can see it everywhere. It's a reflection. It's like fractal of screw ups that we continuously do as a community, and it just literally has to do with lack of awareness, right? Basically, the
Exactly.
people that have power and they have awareness, they do good. People that have power and have a lack of awareness, they do a lot of disaster, actually.
Right. Yeah. So
So
the way that I would, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I would just say that the people who have influence but they don't have true awareness, that's the difference in definition for me. Awareness begets true power. And I see power as a positive thing that comes from somebody's inherent truth, and connection to their dharma. Whereas somebody who's, like, for example, in a political position of influence, but they don't have awareness, then they have all this influence. They can hit a checker and knock down and cause a chain reaction. But if they're not aware of what they're doing, then they can cause disasters and catastrophes. Yeah.
And what they're really missing in the sense of awareness, maybe they have awareness in their field of whatever they're doing. What they're missing is like lack of awareness that other people are involved with their decisions, and like especially their negative decisions, and then they should be serving those people instead of profiting off of them. Like that's a basic lack of awareness. The lack of awareness of service, what it is to serve humanity, or other people, and then not just some people like their families, but everyone, and then that they can do that, but they choose not to for some strange reason. They're very disconnected in that sense. Like, I mean, who's they, right? I don't know. Like, they is just like a pronoun. But the results are palpable, right? We see them, and then we can see the reflection directly in like our political structure. We choose those people, right? They are our representatives, so therefore they do represent us in some way or another. I know you're in Bali, but I bet you're are you American?
So yeah, I was born in America.
Hey, Paloma, how are you? Want to say
Hi.
or-
Hi, Jared. How are you?
Yeah, great to have you here. Doing great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know. I know you were trying to turn your camera.
Okay.
I don't know if you can turn it sideways. It looked like it
Like
did.
this?
There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Awesome.
There
Thank
you go.
you. Oh, and I meant to tell you, Dana, we like to do our view with gallery view so that everybody could see each other. Did you figure that out, Paloma?
I think I did. I mean,
Awesome.
okay, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately, America does seem
Yeah.
to be in many aspects like a sample of the global community. Like when you look at statistics, it tends to be like the United States reflects actually a lot of the rest of the world. But we're ultimately a global community, and it all comes down together. Everyone in the whole world is suffering, this same thing, right? So we're here to figure these things out so that
To change the collective consciousness. So you never say again, everyone in the whole world is suffering, because it's not. We got to see the positive side. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
That's
Hey, Paloma, I
Important.
totally
I'm so
agree with
sorry.
that as well.
Who are you, Rico?
Totally agree with that.
yeah.
I'm so sorry, Rico, but I mean, it's in me. I have to interrupt if that happens.
Yeah.
This is exactly how we're changing the world.
Yeah. Enrico,
Literally holding
Thank
each other
you for holding
accountable.
that energy, Paloma. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back, Jared, for you. I'm back for you.
I hear you. I'm great. I'm excited to have you back with me, Paloma. Thank
Okay.
Paloma,
you.
it sounds like we have a lot in common given what you just shared.
Yeah,
The
you are,
perspective you just
Dana.
put forward. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
Dana.
Yes.
Nice meeting you, Dana.
Very nice meeting you. Yeah,
Okay.
and Rico, I would just speak to America as well, that it is one of the biggest experiments that we've seen in the modern day, in terms of there's people from all over the world, all the, well, not all the cultures, but many of the cultures across the planet have come together. So it is the melting pot. I mean, it is the place where all these different consciousnesses and all these ancestral lineages have come together. And this massive change that we're going through collectively, America is ripe for this change. You know, it's been a bit chaotic recently, but through that chaos, it's actually in the process of alchemy. That chaos is called Negrito. And then from that comes the order, comes the new, you know, there's this concept of the new world order, but in reality, there actually is a new order that is being established, and that's the new level of consciousness. And you know, there may be a little bit of chaos in between, but if you're able to maintain your connection to God or source, you can remain stable like a pillar through that change and through that chaotic energy, and you can ride those waves and surf the ocean of change to safety. You know, you can then surf through it and survive, and your boat will be intact and the sun will come up. And I believe that's what we're going through. That's why the lightcraft practices that I'm sharing, I believe, are so important, because in a state of chaos, you can get completely thrown around and thrashed around, and it can be very painful, and you can be in suffering. Or you can really focus on your meditation, and you can actually remain stable as you yourself are being changed, as your ego is being rearranged, as things are changing within your belief system and within the environment around you.
That's awesome, Dana. I'm really glad that you shared that. I'm glad Paloma got to hear that, because yes, Paloma and you share a lot of energetic waves. So Paloma, because we have a lot to cover tonight, but because we're a small group tonight, I had both Dana and Rico introduce themselves. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself too, because I think you and Dana will be connecting about different things as well. So please take a couple minutes, Paloma, to share who you are and what you're up to, and see what kind of synergies you and Dana can see off the bat, and then you guys can connect more afterwards.
That's wonderful. First, I mean, nice to see you all tonight. I'm glad I'm here. I just opened up. I'm like, whoa, I'm late. But anyway, I'm here. So who I am, Dana, I am Astro Paloma. So I am a Feng Shui master and Batsu Chinese astrologer. And I'm also a life coach. I give kind of like mini conferences, workshops, and try to help motivate people to use like the three most powerful forms of metaphysics, which is like a Batsu, your astrology, what it was given to you at the time of birth that you didn't get to choose, and will affect you about 1/3 of your life, right? So those energies, they're going to affect your emotions. Your emotions is going to affect your thoughts, and your thoughts will gonna take an action. So I guide, you know, like so the people on what action to take, right? And then the other mega powerful form, it's a Feng Shui. So I got to study directly in Asia and North America with multiple grandmasters, and I had, you know, to learn the real classical Feng Shui, which what it does, it measures energy like qi over the first layer of planet Earth. So where does it collect? How does it flow? And once you have a structure, how it affects your living. So these that affects like directly with your environment. So then, I mean, and the Feng Shui and the astrology go hand in hand. And then the last form, it's called Human's Luck, which has everything to do with your thoughts, with your mind power, with your actions and your beliefs. So in order for someone to change, you know, their life, they have to align themselves, you know, with these tools to have this lift or push. So these are like Chinese metaphysics at its best. And I am trying to teach America, like, because my first language is Spanish. So what's actually real qi? So they understand the life force, the energy life force, which, you know, in India, they call it prana, and Hawaii mana, in Latin America, Pachamama. So trying to help them understand that we are energy and we are a vibration. And if we align ourselves with better vibration, we will start resonating at a higher frequency, depending on what is it that you're looking for. So I've been giving like different workshops, but mainly one is about like I mean, how to attract more prosperity and what you can do in your surroundings. And then the other one was about love and relationships, and it's about how, you know, how to start resonating in the frequency of love. You know, what you have to get to do to your body, to yourself, to your mind, to your spirit, to start opening up, to align for that. And I convince people in my workshops, have to convince them that it's all about a timing. It's like cyclical. So there's going to be the right time at the right point in your life where you're like there, right? Like ready and prepared to find the one, or to do this, or to do that, or the business. So it's just a matter of timing and being ready and get to that point. But we're all gonna get to that point at some point in our lives. The thing that sometimes people are down doesn't mean that you're gonna be like that forever. Hello, like you're gonna change, and then you're gonna feel better, and then you're gonna get to your very nice period in time, and then from them you start learning over and over again. So more than anything, I would say, Jared, I work with chi, with energy, with real lifers, and that's what I try to teach. So
it's so
in
awesome.
Miami.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paloma. Thank you. I feel a lot of resonance with what you said. And I think that, again, well, I certainly know we have a lot to talk about and a lot to share with each other. I think that we can really vibe with the perspective that both of us carry on how to help humans heal and how to help all of us collectively rise together. A big part of my work is becoming aware of the inner world that is occurring, and understanding what energy sources we're feeding off of, what energy sources we're connecting to, so on and so forth, so that we can begin to vibrate at a higher level, and gain clarity within our consciousness. So
that is wonderful. I love it.
And
so
he gave an even more eloquent, detailed description just before you came on. So you'll have to watch the beginning of the recording to see it, because it's a really good short encapsulation of all that he does. What were you just about to ask, Paloma?
Yeah. So what part of the world are you in, Rico and Dana?
Yeah. So I'm in Bali. I'm in Bali, Indonesia.
Far away. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
So you're in the Carolinas, and me and Jared are in Miami.
Holding it down, 305. I'm actually in 954, but close enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. So did you want to say something, Paloma? Because I'm going to dive right in otherwise.
Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, great. So what I want to share with you guys, I first want to take a couple of acknowledgements. First of all, for you guys, thank you so much for being here. I know, first of all, Dana, for being here the first time. And I think Rico, from your expression, I thought that was a great, and Paloma, thank you for being here. And I know that a few people, regulars like Kat and Angie, had let me know they weren't going to be able to be here tonight, which we appreciate.
I enjoy my conversations a lot with them. I think they have awesome input.
Yeah, and the thing, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a packed house next time. This time, as you guys know, I didn't send out a reminder on Friday. I was kind of thinking I'd do it over the weekend. I didn't get to it, so I wonder if that might have had something to do with it. But either way, we've been in this cycle that you guys have been experiencing where I've been developing this process, and you guys have been a part of that, Paloma and Rico, integral part. So thank you. Paloma, first of all, for, being with me and the process while we were, figuring it out, right? While we were trying to figure out a way to get, and that whole workbook and worksheet is still very valuable. That's like the really detailed process that we've been working on. But what we did last time with the mind map is now like the foundation of the beginning of it. And I'm going to show you guys where it's gone from there, because now it's gotten super refined and we're getting really, really honed in on this like finished product that we're going to be able to replicate en masse. So this is, again, you guys have been seeing where I've been figuring out the model and the template, but we're very close to me being able to be out of the picture and have interns and people and all kinds of people doing all of this work. And it's going to, as you'll see, be really valuable. So let's just dive right in with like a quick, like what's happening cutting edge with it right now, so you guys can see, and then we'll talk about it. And again, to create a little bit more of a, framework and context for everybody around this, is that, we've been talking about how can we maximize the value of the Leadership Council experience for the Leadership Council members, and what are we all doing together as a Leadership Council to create, and Rico, I want to thank you and acknowledge you for, a lot of input that you've been having around that, from the beginning, and for us going deep into that area. And for you, Paloma as well, to really be, asking, what are we doing? Let's be on target. Let's be really direct. Let's make sure that we're maximizing our time and creating results. And I've been hearing all of this input from everyone and really figuring out, how can we be operating at highest level? And what I'm going to share with you is, what I'm seeing right now as the foundation, and that, well, first of all, we'll come back to the logo. I'm going to talk with you about that a little bit, Rico, as well. But this is the diagram that I came up with that really, it felt like it was almost like, channeled out of me when I came up with it. I really, really love the simplicity and what it says. So Uniting for Action is a membership organization made up of the people who want to work together to create results, right? And then Uniting for Action provides solutions and support. We provide systems and solutions that allow us to work together more effectively and efficiently. And we provide access to tools and providers committed to optimizing our results. So what I mean by all of this, and I hope you guys already are seeing it and imagining it, is a lot of what I've been, focusing on and bringing, into existence through Uniting for Action, these different systems like the manifestation process and the collective framework solution and the referral and the nano actions and all these different, solutions, as you guys know, are solutions that have been building up inside of me that are now being let out. So of course, Uniting for Action is a solutions organization with all these solutions coming out. And as I've been sharing with a lot of people and want to kind of reinforce with you guys, because I want everyone to kind of get this, is that even though Uniting for Action is a solutions organization, we're not by any means saying we have the ultimate solution. What we're doing is we're saying that we have a solution that by itself is really good side by side with whatever the current status quo is. And we're putting this out there into the world as a first draft starting point for the rest of the world to show up and tell us how we can improve this part and how this part can be better and how their solution for that is better, and have best practices develop around everything, right? We're simply working on starting the conversation in all these far-flung areas that there is no conversation to have the massive type of transformation that we're making available through our solutions just as a starting point. So does everyone get that? Because I think that's a really important thing. It prevents us from having to be like, we're right, we have the answer. We're like the opposite of that. We're like, we don't have the answers at all. We don't have any of the ultimate answers. We just have the starting point for us to get there. And that, along with a framework that allows everyone else to show up and provide what they have to offer, that gets us to the best of what humanity has to offer. Does that really hit home for you guys? You guys get that?
Yeah, I get it. And as you're speaking, what I think of are two things. One, we always seek to optimize the systems that we're currently a part of. So there's endless solutions that can take place. But if we see one part that can be made better and allow the energy to flow more coherently, then that is a solution that can be provided, which then will allow us to upgrade. And then from there, we can continuously upgrade. So it's just continuous upgrading process. It's just a matter of doing it, and channeling it in and embodying it. The second thing is, if you can bring up that diagram one more time.
Yeah, that's where I want to jump back into, actually. So great.
So the support aspect, it says we provide access to tools and providers committed to optimizing our results. I'm wondering if you can just explain that a little bit more. Because the syntax is a little, we provide access to tools, we provide access to tools to providers, or are we provide access to tools and providers to whom?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So, and again, this is also first draft, so we can change the language for sure, especially if it's not clear. But the point of it is, and this is what I want to share about what support is and why this is so important as a diagram, because we're really, really featuring the support side by side with the solutions. And I'm going to get into that in a moment. But to answer your question, Dana, we, as in Uniting for Action, is providing access to tools and providers. And so providers, Dana, are like you and Paloma, right? You guys are providers and you're providing tools and whatever else is being provided, right? The providers are the ones that are providing the support to the members, right?
May I say something?
Sure.
I think providers sounds more like, the providers for food or the providers of items. I mean, you can call us better facilitators. Don't you think it sounds kind of?
Yeah,
No?
well, I definitely hear what you're saying about providers not being like the best connotation. So facilitators, I think, let me think about, yeah, I think that could be it. I'm open to other suggestions as well. Let me write that one down and we'll
Yeah,
see.
I had the same thought. I think the word providers, it's funny because I think it's coming from your systems background, and I think that that's where it's coming from. But for the
right,
the term and what people can connect to most, I don't know what the best term is. Facilitators is definitely kind of hitting closer to home into like what we're trying to communicate and what's being communicated in the diagram.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. We should mindstorm a better term that's more accurate, precise.
Providers, services providers could be also better than just providers, but then it makes the whole thing longer, and the more words, the people that less understand, sort of thing.
Yeah, I
So,
was actually following the guidance that Rico had given me when we went through the thing to really come up with words that were just exact descriptions of what was happening. But I get that this wasn't the best fit in that way. You wanted to say something, Rico?
So what do you rename providers? Because if we didn't pick that word.
We didn't pick providers. What did we pick?
We said vision holders.
Oh, vision holders, right? Yeah, I ended up feeling that that vision holders was too like nondescript. But maybe, I don't know, you were nodding your head, Paloma, you like vision holder better?
I like it better than providers, but I'm just trying to remember, something came out to me, or I was going to say servants for, like, I mean, it has to sound something like the people that wants to serve and want to help.
Well,
Sure doesn't.
yeah.
Servants for humanity or something like that.
Well, yes and no. The thing is that under support, it also includes things like video editing and accounting and other types of ways that people support people. So that's why it's a little more broad than what you were, and that's why I was trying to think whether facilitators would really fit, because there's going to be all kinds of people that aren't necessarily facilitators. But I think that the conversation is diverging a little too far. I note that we have to address it, but I want to make sure we get through our materials tonight.
Stakeholders, it's providers what it used to be stakeholders, is that right?
Yes. At the moment, yes. And you're right. And yes, Rico, we had changed it to vision holders. And then afterwards, I was thinking that nobody would know what a vision holder was unless we defined it for them, which was kind of what you were saying.
I did talk to Angie right after that, and I said vision holders, and then I explained it, and I came up with this other word that was even better, but I don't remember it now. But let me ask you again, because
I hope Angie remembers.
I was explaining it to her, and then I said it, or she said it, or something like that.
Yeah, so she might remember. It's possible.
She does have really good memory. So
okay, good. Okay, great. Listen, the part I wanted to really, again, focus on with this, especially with you guys, is that this whole support side here is going to be like a real dynamic place with a lot of rich content that, again, Dana, Paloma, or Rico, if you want to do it for your healing thing, whatever ways people are supporting people, because what I've been becoming really aware of, and Paloma, you've helped me, be aware about this, Dana has, is that in providing the solutions and the structures. And this is the thing, I keep reaching out to different people, and you guys have seen there have been different leadership council members. We talked a little bit about it last time, but even when people have the tools and the opportunity right in their hands, a lot of people are in avoidance mode for being accountable to their word. There's like whatever they think they are as a leader out in the world, they don't necessarily want to like make an open book of here's the project I'm working on and here's all the things that I'm doing. I think there's a lot of concern, at least that's what I'm feeling from people about, being accountable, basically. It's a big game for people to be accountable to the world in these big ways that you guys are expressing. And I think that's where whatever the obstacles and the challenges are, Paloma, I think you really help people with that. Obviously, Dana does, other people do, and we'll keep, bringing in people more and more that can help on all sides, because basically it's like, we're helping hold up a mirror to people to let them see whatever is stopping them in any aspect of their life, as much as they're willing to look at it, right? We're being the confronting force. And in being the confronting force, we're also doing our best to be holding the support system so that wherever they're at, not ready to be out there, all of this, not even whatever, but here's support to help get you to where you can be the fullest version of yourself, basically, right? And so I feel like this is going to keep being such an integral part of Uniting for Action. And what we're doing is for us to be really effective in the ways that we're organizing this information, that we're providing the opportunity for you guys, the individuals that are showing up as the supporters, to play the role, whatever role you're here to play, in a really big way, in a really automated way. Again, it's going to evolve a lot over time, as we know, but I want to create the energetic groundings for it right now, and I think Paloma and Dana, you guys are like the perfect, and also masculine, feminine, yin yang energies coming in to, really be the energetic foundation for this. And I want to hear what you guys think, because to me, there's so much around this. Let me just share a little bit so you guys can get energetically what's happening here. So first of all, welcome to our new logo. And this also kind of, in a way, just came out of me the other day. I was not planning on working on the logo while I was in the middle of working on it. I was almost like, I really can't be affording to take the time to do this right now. But it was just that I was changing things on the website, and our old logo was up in the corner, and it was so out of alignment with where we are right now that I just couldn't be with it there. I think that's the Feng Shui action going on there, right?
I totally like this logo a lot, and I congratulate you, because you did it out of a moment of inspiration, and that's exactly what we're looking for. It's awesome, and it's more representative of Uniting for Action, and also, like you said, the energy that we are at right now. So congratulations, you're pretty good at it.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah,
Paloma.
I think the logo is spot on as well. And Paloma, I think that we can come up with a new spell, so to speak, with that support section on the logo that really hits home for what we're providing.
A new spell, be more explicit.
Yeah, like a new phrase, right? Like, so the phrase currently, I don't want to go back to this too much, but the phrase currently is, we provide access to tools and providers are committed to optimizing our results. I think that's a really good starting point, but I think we can make it more precise. And
I think I would say, guys, I'm not a business person, so I don't think like a businessy, but most of the people out there, they're like me. And this may sound a little bit very businessy. So I think it needs to have a more, a more spiritual flow and easier to understand. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I think that I'm open to all of that again, and everything that I put out there. I'll just say this, off the bat. Everything I put out there is just the first draft to have others make better. I don't feel like I'm the best at any of this. I want to be replaced in every single job I ever do. I need to,
Because Jared, I do believe that more and more people, and as I have mentioned you many times before, we're about to enter into this new energetic period, right? And it's going to be very different. It's a period of fire energy, and that involves a lot metaphysics, spirituality. So more and more people, as we all know, they're starting to awaken, and more people is going to get kind of cold by these type of situations. But then you immediately say these professional words and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to I don't know, kind of shut down. So maybe Uniting for Action should be a mix of information between, okay, the businessy, like what you do, which is amazing, the manifestation process, put it in paper. If you want to get something done, you have to follow these steps, period, right? But also more flowy. It needs to have more spirit, right? It needs to be a bit softer, I would say. That's my suggestion, but I don't know.
Oh, I think that's great. I think it's really awesome that you're sharing that. I really appreciate that you're sharing it. So now, I'm just thinking, how do we bring that in? I really feel, in a way, it's almost like I put it out of me the way that I do, and then it goes through some kind of process that you're kind of describing, whatever that process is, whether it's a person or a team or a committee or whatever it is, that there's a repackaging, right?
There you go. Rebranding, right? So
yes. I agree that my brand, Jared's brand, is not necessarily Uniting for Action's brand. We can make Uniting for Action something different than
its own brand. It's the creation
own energy. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I've learned is that there's all of these new words that they're very in style and very spiritual, like abundant, infinite abundance, like prosperity, energy, everything that talks about what people is desiring right now, healing, all of these new things, they need to be included. So when someone starts reading that, they don't feel like, this is just another business offering services and providers and tools and, to be, no. So we're more than that. It's like a community, a conscience, evolution, all of those words I think needs to be whipped in, but maybe I'm wrong. So
I appreciate it. I really appreciate where you're coming from with that. I'm interested in hearing what Rico and Dana have to say in a brief amount of time, because I want to keep us to our hour and a half tonight, and I do want to cover some other things. But I think, first of all, that you just saying it, Paloma, regardless of what Dana and Rico have to say about it, I find value in what you've already shared. So I really appreciate that. And I think, we could very well incorporate, more of that. I definitely want to hear more thoughts, but I think that I feel that what you're saying is on the right track. You know what I mean? That you're putting us in the right direction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my feeling as well. I think Paloma's right on track with that, and I'd be happy to offer like a revised wording and just make some offerings, and that's where I'm at with it. I think that's awesome. Absolutely the right track. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Paloma, and thank you for setting it up. Thank you, Dana, for volunteering for that. It's really great. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's great. Let me continue sharing, this part, the significance to me. I want to share with you guys the significance of the logo, because it'll have more significance for you when I share it. So it actually, and this is kind of like crazy in a way, is that the logo that you see right now was actually like embedded and encoded in a way within this image that I created a few years ago. It was 2018. So 4 years ago, I created, and most of you guys have seen this, it got incorporated into the manifestation process. So you can see in the background was this hexagon with the lines connecting all of the dots. So I had created, and I actually hand drew those lines back then to connect all of that. And I've been thinking to myself, as we've been talking a lot, we've been talking about the whole fractal nature of Uniting for Action and how we're creating like this scalable system that's a fractal of itself. So I kept thinking like, well, actually, each one of these 6 nodes should be its own hexagon as well. So I should go ahead and put one of these hexagons in each one of those places. And when I did that, that's when it ended up, looking like this. So that's the 1 hexagon and then the 6 hexagons surrounding it. And because I did it that way, you can imagine, again, any one of these hexagons having 6 hexagons surrounding it. And we'll animate this soon, in our videos and that sort of thing, because it is like the 6 different hexagons all coming together to create, one unified, uniting hexagon that then can be replicated over and over and over again. So that's like the symbolism. And again, as we get sophisticated with our video and our animation, we're going to be able to do really cool animations to tell that story within the logo itself.
I like what Rico just said, uni-act.
Uni-act?
I'm just brainstorming here,
Oh, you're putting it, I see.
So, yeah, I think the logo is good from a graphic design perspective. There's a little like offsets, like it's a little to the right, but that sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't matter. People like and dislike symmetry. So it's like really subjective. But
no, which part I want to understand. You're saying the words aren't even on it, like the G over here?
Yeah, just the G. Like, to me, it does not escape me to see those things because I design things to be symmetrical usually.
Right. So you're saying, so even though again, and I'm again very
to the right, yeah,
very open to changing all of this. This, as you might imagine, uniting for action was all one block. I could break it up and have uniting be separate and then center it separately. This was just the way that it all aligned, where I put the that in the middle of the 4, and I offset that so it wasn't right in the middle for kind of the same reason that you're saying. Because
I like that. Yeah, I think it could be more symmetrical, whatever, like it's like.
No, but I can break the uniting off and push the uniting into the middle separately. So I can do that if that, it seems like you're right about that.
I'll play with it. I'll play with it and then, decide at the end. And then working together to get things done. Yeah, I think Paloma is right on this one. Like I didn't read that before, but that does sound kind of like, very like, it's not very motivating, it's like someone said that before, but I get that this is like a draft, so it's not it's actually good that at least what you're trying to say.
Yeah, working together for the good of humanity or something like that.
I like prosperity.
More like inspiring, something like, that it's not so business, right? And Rico, you were right on track. I actually look at the logo and it's like more to the right. So probably just move the T to the more to the center, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the whole thing. So.
Okay, so working together to get things done. No, this sounds like, forget it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really appreciate that. I thought it was so good. I really appreciate how bad it is.
or working together to accomplish your something, or working together sounds good. But then after that, it has to be something more inspirational.
Something like prosperity via collaboration,
That sounds confusing. I like prosperity, but via collaboration.
Yeah, something about working together. so we can play with it, but is this what we're supposed to be doing right now? If it is, then we should do it. I'm just asking.
I get what you're saying, because I did want to do some of this, but yeah, we do have more to get to. So let me go ahead and move on. So thank you guys for all of that awesome feedback. It's really, really great. What I want to show you is, I want to show you again where we're at with Electric Token and what we did with the process with them. So you guys might recall that, they're not a leadership council member, but they gave us a sponsorship back in December in order to, go through this process with them. And actually we've evolved quite a bit since then, as you know. So, what I did to show you guys, because this is pretty much the template at the moment. It's the best template I can come up with so far. So we have at the top, logo, links, short introduction, and then some kind of intro. And then this over here is actually the playlist. So each of you are going to have your own, well, each of you already have your own playlist, and this is what it'll look like on your page as well. So with the playlist, if you haven't seen, when you click on the little thing up there, then it gives all the different individual videos. So like Paloma's got quite a playlist already of a bunch of different videos that she's in, and that's on her page. And so we've got, the playlist of all the videos. It gives a little explanation there for people that don't know how to work it. Then we've got the mind map, which again, now Paloma, you've done, Rico, you've done, Dana, we've just started to get into it. So you guys have seen that's, again, leading with that. And then this is where we get into the sections of the portions of the mind map that we have some good content for. So the first one and this is David, who's the operations person for Electric Token. So first serving their clients, to get into that part and, some of the things he had to say about that. And then, into the production support. And with the production support, not only do you have some comments, but this is where we use the worksheet to really get into, what was being defined. And I'm going to share it again. I know you guys have gotten to see it now, but this is now the foundation of our, process at the moment, is just using this one-page worksheet to really hone in on who these providers are, what the incentives are, who our referrers are, and what those incentives are. Because now what it looks like when we actually process it is it looks like this. So this is what it turns out on your page. So on your page, it's going to say what you're seeking. So again, providers, or whatever the new name is going to be. Here's the providers, here's who you're seeking, here's how you describe it, here's what you're offering, here's the incentive. So again, if it was just a hiring situation, I've got a $2,000 budget or whatever it is, but these are your incentives. And then it gives like a get in touch. So it's basically almost like a job application, right? So if they are one of these and they're interested in what you're offering, they can get in touch and essentially apply for the job, basically. And so we're going to make this an automated system as well, where again, we'll collect a bunch of information. You'll be able to compare it side by side with the other people that have applied for the job. In the future, you'll be able to see all the reputation scores and all of the metrics with all of the people that have applied. So you guys get a sense of how in the future it's going to be really dynamic in terms of you being able to choose from, who's applying, and you having some idea of their background and their experience and what they've done because of the record in the system. You guys get that?
Yeah. So hey, Jared, where can we find that manifestation process like paper?
I'm gonna create a version for you and share it with you. So that's how you get it. And it'll be on the site very soon in the self-service model. That's the other part I'm going to share with you guys. But again, just to complete the thought, so that's how they'll apply. And then very similar, you're specifying what, someone can earn for referring you one of these. So, hey, if you can bring me one of these, I can give you one of these. And so then again, make it very easy for the person who can refer someone to just refer somebody to you. And this is where, again, what happens in the automated system, once we get it automated, is they say, hey, I can refer somebody to you. What are you offering me? Let's go ahead and let's create an agreement, the actual contract, right? And that's where, again, we're creating this whole agreement system, right? Like a DocuSign sort of system where it's got all of these standard templates and people can adjust and have their own custom version. But it's all really simple so that anybody can create agreements like easy, right? It's like, one click thing. So then, what's that?
Yeah, like we're all of these new things that you've settled. Sounds really good.
Yeah, thank you. So again, because it's so easy and because these agreements are coming, well, now you'll give the referral. Like as soon as the agreement is signed, here's my referral, go and make money together, right? And then when they do make money together, it's registered in the system already. They do the exchange. The money gets exchanged between them. They report it and it comes back and everybody gets their percentages. And, it's all very clean and straightforward, and it's all very documented and all of that. So again, by having all of this established in this way, let's go back. This is where every one of you, gets to really hone in on all of your vision. So, you get to, let me just show you guys really quickly.
I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who sees these pages? Like, I'm asking short term and long term. Who's going to be looking at these pages?
It's open. Yeah, in general, they're all going to be open and public, but as the system is sophisticated enough, we'll have the opportunity for you to have drafts that you can share privately and other documents that you can share privately. So you'll be able to set the privacy public settings and all of that. Again, as we get sophisticated, obviously it's going to take some time to get to the level of sophistication, but you can imagine that's where we're headed with this.
I mean, how are we supposed to, what is a system? This might be ahead, but whatever. What is a system that is going to get people to this page where they're going to be engaged enough, or like motivated enough, or like engaged enough to watch these videos and help out? Is it going to be because it's going to be people that are the leadership council first, or is it
No, I totally appreciate you saying all of that and asking those questions, and it's really, really great. Those are important questions to ask. It brings up the point that I wanted to say to you guys, which is exactly what Rico is doing and Paloma you've done and other people have done, is that you guys are the critical lookers at this. You guys are the ones that are helping to make sure that it works, right? So I rely on you for your critical judgment. Right?
Okay.
And
that's a lot of pressure.
Well, it seems like you have no problem giving it below, I have to say.
It seems like you enjoy it, actually.
But Rico, to answer your question, and now I forgot what the exact question was that you asked.
The question is, how are people that are going to become,
how are they going to find it and find you,
or the talent that are being recruited, or in this case, in this one case that we're looking at, like coders, how are we getting coders to this page where
No, those are perfect questions. So let's go back to it so that I can answer that. Those are really great questions.
And
So the idea is, first of all, in the sharing, and I don't have it tied in now, but I've built buttons and I can add them in here, where like you can put a share button next to this, so you can share like this position, or you can share this referral, so you can share these pieces out onto Facebook and Twitter and that sort of thing. So it's full integration with existing social media. And so that's important to note, because you're not going to stop using your social media. It's just that you're packaging it with this. So now when someone from your social media comes to the site and they're going to provide somebody, they register into the system, they create the agreement. So it's providing all of the mechanism to actually, what you might normally do, like, hey, who has a good so-and-so they can send me? Somebody sends out on Facebook and all their friends send them whatever they send them, right? But again, we haven't advanced as a society when everyone's doing that over and over and over again, and you don't know who your friends sent. And, again, so this is where we collect all of that information and we do it all together, right? And really over time, what's happening, and this is, part of it, Rico, is that as the system starts going, it's more of like the other way. Like you are somebody that has some people in mind that you want to connect, or you know a way that you can support Dana with what he wants, and now Dana's working on something. Let me go look at his dashboard to see like what his top needs are right now, type of thing. So there's all kinds of like ways that we connect with each other to like support each other, and also the way that it's going to evolve. And this kind of answers your question, is we're getting to the point where everyone's essentially going to be competing for everyone's attention for their offer, right? We're going to be swimming in a sea of offers that are being made to us, right? So when we're swimming in a sea of offers being made to us, what we're going to want to do, one, is have really strong querying tools so that what's filtering through is exactly what we want. So it's not like we're being inundated. Our screens are only showing us what we want to filter, and everything else is getting filtered out. So what's going to come through those filters is essentially going to be the mixture of what you're most inspired by combined with what you're most incentivized by. So for you personally, you're going to be getting the offers that are really a good match for you, that you want to be receiving essentially. And you're going to keep teaching the system through AI and everything else, what offers you like and who you want to pay attention to. And so that's, in the end, it's going to be a very curated, automated experience as much as we can based on all this data that we know exactly what offers you want, you can fulfill, all of that. So does that kind of answer the question for you?
Okay.
And in the short term, let me bring it back to the short term so that we can talk about how we create results right now, because we do want to create results right now. So part of it, again, is just even with the leadership council, that we can, as a leadership council, take a few minutes to browse everyone's board just to see, oh, I can throw this person to Rica. And we've seen it happen in the, right here in our meeting, right? When Emiliana was talking about moving to San Antonio, and Kat said, oh, I have an ex-boyfriend who can help you with real estate there and that sort of thing. So, there's going to be a lot of needs on the board that people can just support because they can support it. And then also, again, you and none of us really are putting all of our needs out in front of our existing networks on a regular basis, and we're not showing people what we need. So again, this puts us in the practice of defining it. And once we have it defined, then putting it out to our social network. How many of us would get more results just by defining specific positions and saying what our incentives are that we're offering for that and what we're offering as a referral percentage, right? If we just did that on a regular basis, we're going to get a lot more results, right? So again, this is just the mechanism that puts you in that mode, and soon puts all of us in that mode. So we're all playing the same game together and we all understand what everyone's doing really easily. Make sense?
Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that I'll be putting together soon too, is a referral process for the Lightcraft services, is what percentage is going to be offered to those who refer clients. And yeah, that I'm really looking forward to creating this page on the Uniting for Action website.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I have to say, it's really been amazing that the more I've been talking with people about the referral part of it all, the more that I've been seeing people's eyes light up and be really appreciative. And, I had even a couple of weeks ago was saying, and I think I said it to you, Paloma, that I've not really haven't been leading with this, because there have been times in the past that some people, got a little uptight about, that sort of thing. But more and more people I'm finding are saying, I'm doing this anyways. I'm not ending up getting money out of it. It sure would be nice to get some money out of connecting people, and that there's so much opportunity. And I was even thinking of this for myself as like, how am I, if I'm doing this as a system, how am I, any way experiencing not having money? I need to start connecting people right and left and start creating business right and left just to generate extra income for myself. It was just like, wow, okay. So, so this is the thing, is that we're really going to be on the ground, like making this work. And the beautiful thing about it is, and this is what I'm getting about it, is that the way we're structuring it so far, at least, is that all three parties are very much getting the win out of it, right? The two that are getting connected and the one that's doing the referring. Like, so far from what I'm hearing is that, like, yeah, this is a win-win-win. And so, like, if we're in that situation, then everyone's happy that it's happening, right? It's not like, oh, you're calling me about another opportunity, another person that you want to refer me to. I'm going to get more business, So it's just, I really appreciate it. I'm really excited that we're in this mode. Any questions or comments from anybody while we're talking about it as we go on, get ready to move on to the next?
Talking about referrals and stuff, I'm looking for some web designer. Does anyone knows?
No.
What kind of website? What kind of website is it?
Like, I need to upgrade my website, so I'm looking for someone good that is not like crazy expensive. I
make websites, so I can at least consult you on how much your website is gonna cost to make for free. So then you can kind of find like
you can be an analyst. I'm sorry. You can be an analyst for her. That's great. This is
Yay.
what an analyst looks like.
Yeah, okay, great. I like that,
Paloma,
Rico. I appreciate it.
what are
Yeah.
you using currently? Are you using Wix? Are you using WordPress? What is your
I
Word-
use
current?
this site
WordPress.
called Strikingly.
Cool.
Strikingly, and I need something that would hold a lot of video. So I didn't know if I should have like my own website or use someone that I was talking to recommended me like to use one of the setup platforms, but then they're not sure if it will be holding a lot of video content, because that's mostly what I've been doing, video.
But the way that you're doing it, for the most part,
Where's
is
your video now?
What you said?
Where is your video now?
Like in the media. So I want to
So-
put it all in the website, but it's not there yet. Just in media, in YouTube and Instagram, whatever. So then what I started doing because of Jared, because of the manifestation process, the whole thing, is I realized, wow, I need to start recording my workshops. So then I'm gonna try to like sell them on the website. So on the website, you go and see whatever, and then if you couldn't attend, but you want to know about, love and prosperity or whatever for 2022, then you can buy the workshop
yeah,
and watch the
if-
entire 2 hours. So that's kind of what I need to upgrade, update, and redo my whole entire website. And I was
There's-
working with someone that I wasn't 100% happy with.
I'll give you a couple of things, Paloma, on the video side, and then I'll let Rico say something, and then we'll move on. But for a lot of times, you're not actually hosting the video on your site. A lot of times, you're uploading it to YouTube or Instagram or Vimeo or some of these other platforms, and then you're just basically presenting it on the website, right? So actually, you see it every time. So on this page, every time you see a video, even though it's showing up on the Uniting for Action website, it's actually being hosted on YouTube. So it's running right now off of YouTube servers. It's not running off of my server. So so you can have the video on your website without it taking any of your bandwidth or any of your sorry about that, or any of your space on your server. Yeah, there are times where you actually are uploading the video into your website and you can serve it from the website, but you probably don't want to do that in any case. You probably want to use some kind of video server system, and you may find like a platform that like does what you're looking for, which is basically, pay for content, and then they do all kinds of different things with it to make sure that it's behind the paywall and all that sort of thing. So you probably are going to want to find the service that you're going to use first and shop around a little bit, and that might help you figure out how you're going to host your video and that sort of thing. So that's the advice that I can give you about that. Rico, anything else that you want to say about that?
Thank you.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it more in detail. What Jared said is right. Websites typically they're more like sales pages nowadays. So it really matters what you're trying to sell, like what are you trying to direct your customers to. And then there's sites like there's this website called Shopify, for example.
Yeah.
Where people it just holds your whole shop, and then they make it really easy for you to manage the back end. So similar to Shopify, there's a website called Kartra, right? And then this site is for people that have videos, for example, and they can charge easily for membership, so that a member can just become a member and all your videos are there, and then that's it. Like I take a Thai massage course on Kartra, so I just log in, and then all my classes are there. Like it even like unlocks only when I do certain things. You have to watch this video to get the second one, or you have to wait a week, or then they ask you if you want to buy something else extra during that. Tons of different little systems within it. And then there's another approach like Jared is doing, which is like the free approach, where he's using YouTube that's free and it has already a lot of features, but then he also has like a lot of organizing that he does for it to be so powerful as he's using it currently. But there's like a way to do that. There's like a way to put passwords on videos, and then you can, or like, and basically you can sell the password, for example, and then they can go into that. And there's Vimeo. So there's different costs to that. So I'll consult you on those specifics. Like I'm looking at it right now, like what are the current best platforms, and
So
I'll
how do I reach to you?
I'll give you my number here in the chat.
All right, okay, but wait, I need to write it down. So can you guys wait?
I put it in the chat.
Wait, okay, yeah, but I mean, then how do I, okay, I got it. I took
There's
a picture.
like a button there. That's just...
So what do I do? Press on the bottom? I mean, if
you want to write, I can tell it to you.
No. I already took a picture, so we're fine. I'll look for it. Thank you so much, Rico. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys. A couple things I'm gonna, start to wrap up. Try to finish as close to 9:30 as we can, but first I have to thank and acknowledge Kat, Angie have both been super contributors the last couple weeks. So thank you, Kat. Thank you, Angie, for all that you guys have been doing. Kat's been setting up meetings. Angie's been making connections. It's really amazing. And, thank you, Paloma and Rico and Laura and Diane and all the people that have been working with me lately on the manifestation process, because as you guys can see, we're really, really moving it along. And what there is for us right now, to get, especially with this last thing, and I'll just show it again one more time and then we'll leave it. But what you're looking at, here in terms of this format. So again, just imagine, so section of your thing, whatever your thing is, and then you've got a video clip along with, some summary of the video clip. And then you've got, what you're seeking, what you're offering, and then what you're offering in terms of the referral. And this is what you just keep repeating, again, they can do it for sponsor opportunities. And so again, it's where once you've defined all of these different, what will be called something different than providers, the facilitators or whatever it is, once you define all of your facilitators, you just really have to figure out what those incentives are. And you got to start shopping those incentives. You have to start making offers to those different facilitators until you start getting some yeses, right? You have to, have the idea that if you're not getting yeses, then you're not inspiring them enough, and or you're not giving enough of an incentive for them to say yes, right? So then it's really up to you to either see, is there a way for me to sweeten the incentive, or do I need to figure out a way to make this more inspiring to them, or both, or whatever it is. But it's where you are in total control over when and how your vision gets manifested, right? Wherever you're not, having facilitators participate, it's because somehow whatever you're offering is not getting through to them. And the other thing is too, maybe you just have too small a sample size and you're just not finding the one that will respond to your offer. And so you need to open up, how many prospects you're putting into your funnel to be able to find, if I'm not getting it out of 5, maybe I need to get it out of 20 or maybe 100 or maybe 500. I'll find the 1 in 500 person that'll do this. But then you have to go through a process of actually going through those 500, right? So again, it's up to you where you find the balance in all of this. And what we're doing is creating the very specific mechanism for you to be tuning those different gauges until you get those pieces that you need in your puzzle. Does everybody see that? Because I want that to be really clear. That's really, the crux of this is you're the one defining all the critical pieces, right? We use the mind map and the worksheet to say, I need one of these in order to accomplish this vision, and I need one of these. And whatever you put down on that paper, you are now committing yourself to acquiring one of those, which is based on inspiration, incentive, and amount of sample size that you're giving that offer to in order to find what you're looking for. So you guys get that? You get that's the whole game in a nutshell right there, right? And then we just work on mastery of that in terms of, you know, being enrolling, having better video production, getting our language better, like you're helping us do, Paloma, you know, so that it is inspiring, so it does reach people, so it does hit home. And then we do get the results that we're looking for with less people, whatever it looks like. So is that really clear to everybody? I know I'm describing it in a different way than I have, but again, as I keep going through it over and over and over again, it's breaking it down to this really straightforward formula, right? We've got these 3 factors that we can adjust: inspiration, incentive, and the number of people that we're giving our offer to. So any questions about that? Is that clear?
No, that makes a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to going through it. One of the questions I do have is, when I first saw the manifestation process paper a few days ago, I remember George's name being on the paper. So was this manifestation process originally created by George?
No, it was actually for George. So what I've been doing is I've been creating a custom document for each person that's using it. So I created that one to share with him. So I'm going to create one to share with you, and then that's going to be your shareable document that gets to share around.
Amazing. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, and thank you for asking that. That's a great question. We want to make sure that we're being in integrity all the time with everyone's intellectual property and all of that. So thank you for being on that, Dana. So awesome. So the last, you know, couple of things that I want to say as we're getting into this is, I just, again, one, you guys have already gotten me working with you a little bit, and you've also done some of this work on your own. And what I'm doing is I'm getting it into the self-service model as quickly as possible. So the self-service model is where anybody can show up at the website and they can go ahead and use, you know, like you're saying, Dana, they can get their own worksheet. They can watch these videos of me working with different people so they can see what the process is. Then they can, you know, do their own mind map and do their own worksheet and, you know, go through the whole process. So really we're making it so the whole thing is, again, open source, like we've talked about, available to the world, to anybody that wants to use it, make it better or whatever. And then that, and the way that I'm setting it up, and I'm still playing with it, but I just want to put it out there and you guys can give me feedback. I see it's 9:30, so I apologize. We're running a little bit over. If anybody has to go, we understand, and I'm going to wrap up as quickly as we can. But in terms of the process, and I just totally lost my train of thought. Where was I in that part of what I was just sharing?
You know, I'm really not sure where you're going with it. It was a manifestation process. And, yeah.
What I was saying, let me get back to my train of thought with that. I just want to take a moment, but okay. So with the manifestation process, with the
Forget it. Let's just change the topic, because you guys is late for me.
Wait,
I mean, you said 9:30 and I'm falling asleep. You know.
I understand. Let me go back. Let me go back into the page and share it, because I do want to wrap up with this, and it is an important concept. So let me actually pull up my notes, which I've been going off of, and so
there you go.
Let me get back to my notes here.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Okay. So what I was getting to with that is that so I was saying that we're going to have the self-service model, right? So the self-service model, anybody can use the self-service model, and then we're building this full service model that I've shared with you guys, that again, eventually we'll have interns, we'll have everybody filling all these different roles, and not just interns, it'll be professionals that are doing this professionally, because this is in demand, you know, to help people with this. And that's what I'm starting to do, as you saw with Electric Token and that sort of thing. So we're having the self-service model, the full service model, all the different, you know, bells and whistles part of it. What we're doing again with all of this is providing all of the there's no reason, if somebody wants to create results, that they wouldn't, use more efficient systems, more effective systems, unless there's something stopping them and blocking them again, right? Like we talked about earlier. So that's where, again, we are being in this process, especially right now, for me and you guys, since you guys are the ones here, to help support all of the Leadership Council members wherever they're at in their process with the manifestation process, with their vision. If they either haven't, got their vision out yet, or they're not moving on their vision, this is the time in this last month that we're going to have together in March. Because for Rico, actually, Paloma, you started later, Rico and some of the others that started earlier, this is going to be the end of the 3 months. So this is our time now to really be together and support each other, because that's the support we can all use, right? We can all use support in whatever that area is for us, and it's different for each of us. But this is where we get to come together and be open as much as we can and are willing to be about where we can use the support. And again, it'll be more anonymous when we're connecting directly with supporters, as the pool is there. But what, again, as you guys were saying, in order to actually do the practice, in order to experience the results, while we're here in the Leadership Council, it's for us to say, Paloma, how are you doing in your manifestation process? How, what's moved? What have you defined? And this is going to be defined by the pages, right? So we've begun to build out the pages. That's part of what I wanted to share. This will be, I think, the last thing I'm going to share, is that we've started to put the pages out there. So on the Leadership Council page, and this will be much improved very quickly, but I just started to put all the links. So if you go to the website and then go under Membership Leadership Council, you'll see the links of the pages here, along with the links to the mind map. So if we click on Paloma's, this takes us to Paloma's mind map, and this is where we get to see, what her mind map looks like. And then, as the pages get built out, and I'm going to build out all of your pages. So if you haven't sent me your bio or headshot, send it to me, because then we're going to make each one of these clickable, so that you can go to your page. Everybody can go to everybody's page, and everybody can see, what's there. And that's where we're going to start to support each other, make sure that we all are getting our stuff out in the world and being on top of it. Because by the time you leave the Leadership Council, that's essentially, the best gift I think that we can give as an organization, is to have you be firing on all cylinders with what results you're creating in the world, not only with the structure, but with the support. Let's make sure that we're all working to bring in the support. Paloma, Dana, Rico, everyone else who are the supporters, that we're recognizing this kind of expanded consciousness of process with Uniting for Action, that Uniting for Action itself is being a triggering mechanism, and will, for everybody at every level, everybody that's being out in the open about their stuff at some point is going to get confronted, right? Publicly, because it's out there. So again, it takes a lot of courage to be in this space, and we get to be the compassionate supporters of everyone to come into this space and feel supported, and be able to experience their optimum, most divine expression of themselves. Does that sound good to you guys? You guys like how we're being as an organization in this way?
Yeah. Exactly, brother. I'm really happy you said that, because I see a lot of people who are in the public eye, whether it's musicians or entrepreneurs and these types of people, who something will happen and it'll be this giant drama thing online, like a scandal or something. And the perspective that I have now is so many of these people have created such amazing music, such amazing businesses, such amazing products. It's only, look, it's like exactly what you said. It takes courage to really stand up and to embody your genius, and that's going to come with you receiving reflections and growing through the process as well. So I'm really happy that you saw that and that you see it that way, and of course my heart's right there too.
Awesome.
And Jared, I think I just had a little bit of an idea. I think at some point, a nice little video, for us welcoming people like it will be very encouraging, you know, so everyone is like this, and you know, like let's make a paragraph or whatever you have to say, and then like I mean someone to edit and cut different parts depending of how someone said it, and that's going to be very friendly and very welcoming. So it's like, you know, like pulling people to feel more confidence, or not confidence, to feel more confianza. What's that word? Trust. Right.
I appreciate that. I think that's really great input and feedback, Paloma. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. I agree. I think that's a welcoming video that you guys can easily share with different people. It's definitely, we need that. So thank you for saying that. It's awesome. Okay, great. I want to again respect the time. Is there anything else that any of you guys want to share before we wrap up here?
I'm feeling very inspired. I'm feeling very inspired. Yeah.
Thank
When
you.
is the next meeting?
Yeah, so thank you for asking that, Rico. So the next meeting will be the first Monday in March. I don't have the date in front of me. I can look it up. The one thing also I did want to mention is that now that we're building out your pages, we're going to start to feature you guys much more. Like the homepage is actually going to be like featured members and featured visions and that sort of thing, and featured like facilitators that you're looking for, whatever. So again, I want you guys to be thinking in that mode, you know, where it's going to be less about explaining about Uniting for Action. That'll be more on like the about page and that sort of thing. It'll be more of like the homepage will be like a reflection of the community connecting and posting and supporting and the visions that are out there and that sort of thing. So it's going to give you guys even more opportunity for the visibility. And relatively soon, we're going to start to be approaching like, you know, bigger networks. We're already approaching some people that have networks. So when any of those people come on, you know, with a several hundred or several thousand person network, you know, we can obviously quickly add eyeballs when we start to do strategic partnerships with large networks like that. So again, now is the time for you guys to build out your space, let the world see who you need and how you need it, and let's actually get them filled, right? Let's create results. Paloma, let's get your top 10 needs. Rico, let's get your top 10 needs. Dana, let's get your top 10 needs outlined, and let's intentionally do, not just talk about it, but do this action to get those needs filled, so you can say, this thing is really working. You know, that's really that's what there is for us to do right now. So all the pieces are in place. Now it's time for us to use it. And if there's anything stopping any one of us, let's, you know, turn to the others for support and say, I'm being stuck, you know, I could use some support. Let's, you know, let's support that person so we can all get there together, right? We won't get to the finish line unless all of us get to the finish line, right? So let's do it together. That's what we're all about, right? Uniting for action.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's very powerful. I love the straightforward language. Yeah, I'm like, and I actually did enjoy, I'm open to the revision as well, but the working together to get things done, it was very straight. It's a very straightforward statement as well, and it's quite masculine too.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
we need to find the perfect balance between the yin and the yang.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I appreciate, Paloma, that you're bringing that in. I appreciate, you know, that you do a good job of bringing that energy in. We can use your energy, and we appreciate your energy.
Yeah, I'm back.
Absolutely.
I got demotivated, but I'm back. You know, at this time, I'm like, I mean, already in bed, you know, like falling asleep or asleep. So I stay up for you guys.
Thank you, Paloma. We appreciate it so much. I appreciate all of you guys. It's been so great to be with you. I really honor and appreciate your presence and your participation in this co-creation. You guys are amazing. You are superstars. I'm honored by your presence and so grateful.
And we're very grateful to you, Jared. And I like what you're putting together. And I like your vision, and I like your enthusiasm. And I like that there's something new. And I think right now we need new. So, and different and fiery and community focus and consciousness focus and energy focus and healing focus. So I think Uniting for Action, I mean, it's a great idea.
Thank you, Paloma. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys. Be great. And I will see you soon.
Pleasure to
Cool.
meet you,
Yeah.
Dana. Welcome. Enrico, thank you for passing along your number.
Yeah,
You'll
just
be
text me
here.
and then we'll schedule a call.
Okay, you'll be hearing from me. So, okay.
All right.
But
Cool.
anyway, thank you guys. Good night, good evening.
Good night,
Amazing.
everyone.
you.
See you.
So
Bye.
wait a minute, Dana, what time
Yeah.
is it over there?
It is 10:45 a.m.
Because yes, Saturday, or Saturday, Saturday. Like I was talking to this friend and she's like, no, it's because I'm talking to someone in Indonesia, in Bali. And she said that the only time where they can really talk, like, I mean, for an entire hour or two, it's a business thing about energy resources or something. It was at 7 p.m. at night or at 8 p.m. So at what time would be over there?
So 7 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time would be 8 a.m. for me the next day. So if it's
The
your Friday,
next
it would be
day.
Saturday for me.
Yeah, so I think that's why they were coordinating this time. So I was
Yeah,
wondering.
I get up quite early. So in the mornings, I have quite a lot of time to talk with people who are in America.
Tomorrow is 2/22/22.
Yeah, it's
there's
actually
like
22
global.
for me today.
Oh yeah, there's a
It's
global
portal.
meditation happening
Well, let's
at all
join it.
times for the next
Let's
24
join
hours.
it at 2:22.
Yeah.
A portal opening for
Great
wonderful
idea.
things to come.
Yeah.
But I think I did one of those meditations, but it was something else. So every time that there's like repeating number, people is like going crazy.
We love numbers that repeat.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
because I think numerology is like one of the easiest thing for some people to learn, and it's something that became very popular. So then, like it's becoming like a cult, I think. Yeah, that's what I've
That
noticed.
stuff definitely occurs in those circles for sure.
Yeah, cat
Kat
Mac
joined
cult.
right at the end of our meeting.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're here, Kat. We were just getting off. So I think I'll just acknowledge you again since you're here, Kat. Are you going to get on video, or are we not going to get to video?
Give me 1 second, because I'd like to say a few words, and if anybody has to go, no problem, but I really want to say some words about how I feel this is progressing.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you
Yeah.
joining us. Divine that you've shown up.
Hello, Kat.
Hey, Kat.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Paloma was saying that she missed you when you weren't on at the beginning.
Oh, that's so nice.
I love all your input, Kat. And I even check TikTok after your last comment.
Yeah. By the way, anybody here promoting their own business, my boyfriend's about ready to start a channel called The Peace. He has a peace experiment, which is a free thing for people to be praying in different time zones at 8 o'clock every whatever. And he's going to do that on TikTok because TikTok is the wave of the future right now. The algorithms are better.
Yo, I'm about to be on TikTok, Kat. It's so funny you say that. I was thinking about that during this meeting, on how I'm about to be creating my TikTok and going live there too.
Well, I have been. It's the wave of the future for cause marketing, and I've become a mini quick expert on it because I have 9,000. I'm following 9,000, and I have over 1,000, which is needed for going live. So I'm going to offer anybody on the council a free 15-minute TikTok marketing education and recommendations to already bring, because I'm so excited about it, and we can all get better. Facebook is great. And everybody's still going to use Facebook to some degree, but young people are moving away from it. They're not even joining now at 16. They don't even
I'm not even on Facebook.
Yeah, it's not cool. I'm on it because it helps my real estate business through the marketplace, through a little secret technique I'm using, which is going very well. I closed 2 deals today. So that's good for that. But like TikTok, it causes businesses. If they like you, they send you stars, which basically puts money in your pocket. There's a sound bowl guy that he puts his Venmo, and I know he's making a living just from Venmo from being likable. So this is a thing. It's a real thing.
Nice.
And Paloma, even though your clients are like, I don't know, like $20,000 retainers to do a mansion or something, there's space for you too in the luxury part of TikTok. I'll teach you all
Okay.
about it.
Yes.
Awesome,
So,
Kat.
so what I wanted to say, because that's not what I was going to say, but I just created all that, and I'm so excited about that.
There we go. Thank you.
This is an unstoppable train that Jared has created. What started as this bold vision that I heard in his speaking, which had me just plop down the money and join, has been shaping and evolving so quickly through our enthusiasm that I'm reconnected with Landmark in a new way. Who here's not done Landmark?
I don't know what Landmark is.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to put the website in the chat and move on from that conversation because I don't have time and you don't either. Landmark worldwide.com.
Okay.
Today, did you tell him, Jared, about we can share that we had the meeting, right? Or do we not because of the confidence?
Yeah, no, we can share. I mean, you can share. Go for it.
Okay. So in doing the work with Jared collaboratively to bring people, more and more, Jared are shaping the value, and the value he did for me this weekend, because I'm moving in a million directions, is immense. So he did the mind map, right? And the mind map was like life-changing this weekend because everything was in front of me. By the way, when are you emailing me my PDF? I need to print it out and put it on my wall.
Sure, I can do that.
Anyway, so what happens is we're in a upward swirl, and I keep thinking of people and I keep meeting people, and it's helping actually already put money in my pocket just from working on the council. It's actually making me make synchronicitous contacts that are then like, oh, but real estate too, and my magic water, which do I have time for magic water, Jared? Or no? I'll send it.
I think the other people may not have time.
Okay, yeah, got it. Okay, so I will share about magic water next week or whatever, or 2 weeks from now. Yeah, that's perfect. Let's say, because it's still being shaped as we go real quickly. And I'm getting an investor this weekend, by the way, for it. So we'll tell you about a quick way you can double your income for free. Like it's ridiculous. Jared hasn't even had time to try it. Or just hit me up offline. Do you guys have, when are we doing the contact sheet for the council, Jared?
Yeah.
Well, it's actually, it's kind of on the website now through the pages. I'll send you guys something on Google Docs so it's easier for you guys.
Yes. At least just email phone number, right? Because we may be wanting to like already start to facilitate conversations.
Yeah. Well, actually, now that I'm mentioning it or thinking about it, it's really, I'm going to put it on Slack because we all need to be on Slack.
Yes, so perfect. That'll make us go to Slack. You see how that works?
We have to use Slack.
Download it right now.
Okay. All right, so there's that. I think that's about it. I just wanted to bring my enthusiasm. So Friday night, I talked to the guy that runs landmarkgrads.com.
Wow.
And Dana, it is appropriate for me to give a commercial for Landmark because it's how Jared and I met.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Landmark's been around since the 70s. It was EST. But EST was such a rough training with you're not allowed to go to the bathroom, and there was profanity, and it was offensive to a lot of people because the guy was like way ahead of his time and he didn't care what people thought. So they called them EST holes. They were that like culty. Speaking of cults. Yeah. So they softened it. They added bathroom breaks. Like a 99-year-old has done the forum. People of all religions. It's not a cult. It's basically a conversation rooted in Buddhism, I think, because it's about empty and meaninglessness. That's and the meaning that you bring. And my boyfriend has just brought me food. Hey, do you want to say hi to everyone? Say hi. Just wave.
Hello, how are you?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Okay, so I learned about it in '97, and my life has never been the same. Now that I'm realigning with all these Landmark people, there's so much business to be done among Landmark graduates. So landmarkgrads.com, some graduate just thought it was so great if everybody connected like a what do you call it, a business networking BNI type group. But he wasn't even charging a fee. So he put all this together, and I don't think he's made a dime. I don't know, he might have, but so I brought him to Jared today, and he may or may not join the council right now or whatever, but already I brought that guy a lead from a Landmark call that I'm on of an author of a book called that you can get on Amazon, Speaking Being. Are you familiar with? Okay, Speaking Being. And the
I'm not familiar with that book, but it does sound familiar, but
Yeah,
it-
it's ontology. It's that thoughts are things, and what you speak, you create, and you can
Oh,
create
sure.
your world with your word. And there's so
Absolutely.
many aspects of the course. And after the
The
COVID, they
beginning
all
was
went.
the word, and the word was God.
Yes, you got it. And integrity is a big deal, like being on time and da da
Yeah,
da.
it
Or
is.
if you're not going to do something, just recommit and clean it up. Like they're super cool. So I would highly recommend it. Landmarkworldwide.com. Find a course, sign up, something. You have to do the forum first, and then you can do anything they offer, I think. Well, no, not all of it, but it's like $600-700 and worth every
Okay, so
penny.
what benefit do I gain from the landmark stuff?
I
what
need to
is it?
stop talking. Jared, say something.
Well, everyone gets something different, and it's very challenging to kind of say what you're going to get. But what Kat described is, in the four, and I won't spend a lot of time on it because I know, we don't want to get all too into it, but it starts with the 4-day course, and then it's got other courses, and basically it's taking people through training of consciousness, of being able to look at things from a different lens. And really the idea is to give people the ability to see, the things that they repeat, the repeating patterns in their lives, their limiting belief systems, their limiting patterns, all of those sorts of things. So it's basically different types of technologies to help create awareness, and then tools to be able to address, those different types of things. So, the biggest thing to me about Landmark is how many people they've had run through their courses, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5 million people over the years. And I was sharing it with Jamie, who Kat connected me with, the Landmark grad person today when we were talking. This is the thing, and this is the important thing, as far as I'm concerned regarding, us and Landmark in this whole conversation, is that Landmark is almost like a West Point type of place where they're, West Point trains all the soldiers, and then you've got all, they go out, and those are the generals, and those are the lieutenants, and those are the people that, organize the troops and take the troops into battle. And what Landmark has been doing is it's been the, like the West Point of training people in consciousness for like decades. And they've been graduating them and then just kind of letting them go. They've never collected into an army. They've never organized. There's never been any self-organization at scale of all of those people, which is kind of crazy because with the training they've all had, it's all about making impact in the world and all that sort of thing. So it's really crazy that Landmark's never been able to harness all of that. I've had these conversations in the past with different people, and that's why, again, Landmark grads that Kat is mentioning is a potential significant strategic partner, because not only do they have however many tens or hundreds or whatever of graduates that could all of a sudden be mobilized and work together when they have a structure like this, but also that they can, especially with that kind of training, really support on the support side, really support on the system side. So again, we're at such baby stages of what we're doing, but as soon as some of these things start taking hold, we're going to start to have all of these entities that are going to just blow things up, right? And that's where we're trying to like juggle everything, but we're going to need tons of finances to build all the infrastructure to manage all of that, right? So it's like we're trying to run from one to the other really quick to get it all going at the same time, right? But the bottom line is, as all of you have experienced, we're all doing our best to just be in the moment and be in the perfection of the moment and let it all unfold perfectly. And that's where what Kat is describing, is a perfect unfolding, and what Paloma has been describing has been a perfect unfolding. And we're all going through our perfect unfolding. So, I want to keep sharing, this vision because it's so clear for me. And I know that when we head in that direction, we're heading towards whatever a golden future is. I'm not attached to whatever it looks like. We're just, at least we're moving, right? Where so much of society is just stuck in our systems, and we're just stuck in those systems. There's no way for us to get out of those systems. That's just the way the world is. But no, actually, we could be operating in a whole different realm, and that's what we're creating. So again, Landmark, gratitude, Tony Robbins,
Essence of Being.
Essence of Being, yes, thank you.
And we're talking to Burge on Thursday, so
yeah, all of these are just examples of lots of people congregating around these concepts, just ready to find us and to like be so super excited to onboard. And all of a sudden we have 5,000 users in our system overnight, right? So like we're headed towards that as quickly as we, really soon, essentially. So it's a matter again of you guys just staking your claim, getting all of your content in all the places that you can, so that when the world shows up, you're the ones that they see, right? So that's the opportunity.
That was so eloquent. I actually wrote down the West Point of training for consciousness because I'm going to use that from now on. Landmark has been so hard to explain and define. They're like, oh, it's like a motivational thing. No. Oh, it's like Tony Robbins. No. I mean, it's not like anything. It was actually voted the #1 biggest adventure after space travel in 1987 with a survey or something. It's incredible. But Dana, what do you do? Real like an elevator pitch.
Awesome.
And I think just to be respectful, since Paloma and Rico have already heard that, we'll let Paloma and Rico drop if they want, and I will stick around, Kat, for you to connect with Dana so you guys can get to know each other. So sound good? Again, Paloma and Rico, you're welcome to stay if you want, but I know that we wanted to wrap up a while ago, so I want to give you guys.
He's honoring the time with his word and integrity. And Rico, how are you, by the way? Just want to say hi, Paloma.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't do Landmark, but I did Gratitude, and that's where I met Jared through Gratitude somehow.
Well, that's another market right there. The Gratitude people, those databases are nowhere to be found because the owner sold the company. So there you go. There's another one.
For Gratitude? Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, during COVID, they didn't make it during COVID. They didn't have the infrastructure Landmark did with worldwide offices.
Right. So, okay, great. Well, again, Rico, Paloma, if you want to stay, you're certainly welcome to. And Kat, Dana, I definitely want to let you guys good night. If you're leaving, goodbye. Great to be with you guys. Thank you again.
We'll stay connected and
nice
share everyone's. Yeah, nice to see you guys. Nice to meet you, Dana. Big kiss.
Let's catch up through Slack.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Right back.
Cool. Bye. Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
So,
what's up, Kat?
And Paloma, you got my text. We need to talk because I'm running in some circles now that I need your services.
Oh, that is wonderful.
So I need to understand I need you to email me like all the things, and then we'll talk. And I have people in mind, and I'm going to be repping Young Living essential oils to stage high-end Airbnbs, and you can see how you might be valuable in the staging.
That is wonderful. I actually run an Airbnb, and I was planning to
see how this works.
Like I've been dying to start harvesting, essential rose to making a rose water. But anyway,
the celebrity that I know in Chicago, he was in a movie called Something Borrowed, and we're now on I'm helping him with his TED Talk. He just joined Young Living Essential Oils. He made $5,000 his first month, and he's barely puts any time in it. So there's things happening. I'm in his downline now.
Wow, that is wonderful.
So you never know, he might buy one or work with you in Miami, and then who knows what conversations get created.
Yeah,
he did Landmark, by the way. Landmark changed his life.
Really?
He was already on 90210 Melrose Place when he did Landmark, and he still ended up calling his dad and cleaning things up. So it's just to plug that thing.
I love your energy, Kat. You're always
I'm on a roll. What's next? Take over the world. Woo! Okay.
That's awesome. But anyway, so Jared, we need the information, everyone's information, so we can start contacting each other,
yes,
whenever we need, I would say.
Yeah, I'm going to put it, like I said, I'm going to put it on Slack, and I'm going to help get you set up on Slack because I think Slack is new to you, right, Paloma?
Yeah. Everything that is technology is new to Paloma.
I'm actually, Paloma, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have one of the interns work with you on it. So you'll have somebody to talk to and ask questions. That's
okay. That would be wonderful. But anyway, okay. So guys, I'm going to leave, and big kisses to all of you, and sleep tight, and, much love and good energy always.
And to you as well. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, guys.
Later, Paloma.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
So yeah, what's up, Kat? I
Yeah,
love
tell me your
energy.
pitch. I'm very good at sales and marketing. Now I'm ready for
Oh,
I need to quit this job. My last day is March 11th. So I'm going
Okay.
to be probably working all night catching up, but I'm full of energy. So who cares?
Well, yeah, I'm happy to tell you. Are you drinking coffee? Yeah, there you go.
I need to work. I
do it.
need to work all night, and I will give up coffee because I'm just gone vegan thanks to Jared. It's not working yet because I'm eating cheese, but like, you know.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, I was wondering if that was coffee in the cup. I was like, I know that energy for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
it's wired. I'm
it
over
definitely helps.
caffeinated. I'm in a heightened state.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost manic, but not. Okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it can help.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, hi. I'm living in Bali. My name is Dana.
My
And-
boyfriend you just met lived in Bali for 9 months. Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend Bali. I appreciate Bali. Bali has been an amazing place of healing for me.
How long have you been there, Dana?
I've been here for 11 months this time, but I actually just received my Kitas in my which is essentially a 2-year residency. So I have 2 years in residency. I'm also becoming very well connected here in Bali. So my plan is to become a full-on resident here some way, somehow. Bali has really become a home for me. And there's a whole journey on how I ended up coming to Bali, and Bali for sure called me in, welcomed me in, and has graciously welcomed me in as a home. So I feel very, very good here. And there's so many soulpreneurs here. There's so many young people doing things. So anyways, you're so funny, Kat. No, I haven't watched that. I have not watched Eat, Pray, Love. But I'm working on several projects. However, the main project that I'm bringing to the Leadership Council, I'm bringing to Uniting for Action, is a business that's called Lightcraft. I have a background in spiritual science. I have a background in the occultic studies and these types of things. And I have a background also in healing my own emotions. I suffered with severe depression for a long time. I suffered with anxiety.
I was ready to take myself out. I called the suicide
sure.
hotline and they put me on hold. So yeah.
I've been there.
Joke, or is that serious?
Serious.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
So a big way that my business has started is from my own personal background of having a family, both sides of my lineage have these mental health issues, so to speak. And when I was younger, they tried to put me, they did actually put me on drugs for about 4 months. And then something within me, that was 100% guided, because when that happened, something within me said, I'm no longer taking these anymore. And I was like 13. And so I didn't know what I was talking about. There's just something in me that was like, this is no longer happening. And so that inner authority really came out. And I decided when I was younger that I was going to resolve the depression and the emotional issues naturally. That was something that I 100% decided, because I was like, look, I know, like, I can feel within my heart that I'm an amazing person. I have all this potential. Like I can feel myself. I love myself.
I know.
So I know that it's possible to bring that outwards and to bring that into physical existence and to really embody that. So that was that decision. And that actually came after basically a suicide attempt in my freshman year of high school. And I realized
that was my first thing, is I was going to do the keys with the ignition in the garage. And then my mom came home early that day.
Right. So my experience with that is that at the end of the day, I actually didn't want to die. That was the thing, is that I knew I didn't want to die. I just wanted something to change.
Yeah, it was a momentary cry for help. And a lot of people, it ends up being permanent when that's not really there. There's another several steps that beautiful.
Exactly. Yeah. So I went through this whole process with going to like the psychiatric, like I spent that Thanksgiving in the psych ward, and I went back to
Me too. Me too.
Oh,
age 17. That was my Thanksgiving. I still remember it.
Yeah, that was my freshman year of high school. So I would have been 14 at that time. And I remember one of the distinct things I remember is coming back and realizing, like, I come back to school, my high school, and it was like nothing ever happened. Like nobody asked me about anything, like nothing happened. And I just remember sitting there and thinking, like, I just went through this really wild experience. Like I was in this psych ward for 2 weeks, meeting all these people and like this whole thing. I was very interested in psychology. And and I knew that I didn't want to die on a fundamental basis. I knew that. So what I decided was, okay, look, I can feel this potential and I'm going to manifest this naturally. And despite the fact that everybody around me is like in this psychiatric model of thinking, I'm
Right.
going to do it a different way. And so that was the beginning of my journey in psychology and magic and occultism and spirituality and all of that. Because what ended up happening was I started to journal. And when I was journaling, I started to channel my higher self onto the page. And as I started to give myself wisdom from this deeper place, my ego was like, wait a second, this is coming from a deeper place within me. This is going beyond just like psychology as a material science, that is not connected to like religion and spirituality. This is something deeper. And so when I started to realize that, and I started to really gain, I'm happy you're recording this too, by the way. When I started to realize that, and I started to gain an understanding that there is something deeper happening, that is when my true introduction to my own spirituality started. And I did not grow up in a religious household. I did not grow up in a spiritual household, really, by any means. There was some new age stuff that was put there by my mom. My dad was not present. And my dad actually had a really bad experience with religion when he was young. He was raised by Southern Baptists and whatnot. So it was very abusive.
Yeah.
But for me, my spirituality began from what at the time almost was like a curse of depression, and now has almost become, I'm grateful for it because it's added so much depth to my life, and it's really put me on the track of healing my own personal family lineages and karma and whatnot. And what that has culminated into is this business called Lightcraft.
Okay.
And so Lightcraft,
do you have a website?
I not have a website. This isn't a business.
Guess what I do? Although I can't commit, but I know people like I do that. Like that, I had my own eye-opening marketing company for 3 years with one of the foremost experts in tech marketing. So
amazing.
Paloma's looking for a new website. She mentioned.
Oh, nice.
There's a couple of us here that are going to be making websites.
Yeah, this is actually happening the way Jared envisioned it, and then we all resisted. He's like, well, I'm a great consultant, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to start consulting with people and use my talents. And then he and I together are just unstoppable. And I am a marketing expert. So now, if this frees me up where I can quit my job, which it already did, and then I start getting more and more benefit, I'm so generous and happy to help people. So
yeah, same here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be making a website. During this meeting, there's been several ideas that have come to me on, I'm just building. I am building. So Lightcraft is a business that is, I'm going to be, and we are going to be, because there's going to be a team that assembles around me as well. There already is, it's already happening. We'll be in media production. We're going to be having online courses. There's books that are already being templated right now that are going to be written. There's one-on-one personal coaching that I'm going to be doing for very select individuals, because that'll be a high ticket price, and that'll probably be like a 4 to 6 month container. So the one-on-one coaching is coming online. What else? There's webinars that are happening. I just did my first webinar, and the webinar was entitled "How to Heal Your Family with Light Magic." So these are spiritual sciences that I'm bringing forward, as well as like mixing it with like reality, science, psychology, and the spiritual traditions of Buddhism, for example. All these things I'm inherently connected to. I feel an affinity with Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism. Every time I read about them, I get deeper activations within my own being, and it just helps me. It's this concept of remembrance. I'm remembering all of these things. And the biggest thing that this business is, what drives this business, is giving people information to, number one, create sovereignty within themselves, create clarity within their own minds, help them establish boundaries with everything and everyone so that they become sovereign within their own bubble. Once you're sovereign within your own bubble and you have the clarity of your consciousness, then you can look out into the world and have clarity on how other people are interacting. And once you have that clarity and you have that stability, then you can interact with them from a place of empowerment, which then adds consciousness and allows the flow of love to come through. That's really, the Lightcraft can also be called Lovecraft. It's the same thing. Light and love are equivalent to each other, and love is equivalent to awareness and to consciousness. So this is the big thing that I'm offering people currently through this business, is how to connect with source consciousness to clear your own mind, so
Wow.
that you then bring that love to every situation that you come into contact with. I mean, so many of us are suffering from families who have been disbanded over misunderstandings and over trauma cycles that have been playing out. And so there's all this built up resentment and all this stuff. And so what I seek to do is give people the tools and the information and the energy, because when you look at like traditional societies and Aboriginal societies and whatnot, and like guru to disciple relationships in the true sense of these different strains of spirituality, one of the things that you come into contact with, one of the ideas, is that some teachings are transferred energetically. It's an energy that's transferred. It's a traditional spirit that is offered and then received. And this is what I did a 28-day water fast.
Oh my goodness. I thought that might be possible because the body just only needs water.
Yeah. So I went 28 days. I was only imagining that I was going to do 10 when I started off. I am by no means, like, I was not a professional faster, but this is something where definitely past lives and all this stuff comes into play, because as I went through that process, I felt completely safe through it. I didn't feel in any way in danger. And I actually had a full conversion over to the light. So in a Christian, this would be a conversion to God. And when this happened for me, I had a whole identity shift that really started to occur on a deep level of my being, where I just started to realize God loves me. God understands me. God has compassion for me. And as I started to tap into that source of love, I've been able to offer that to myself and unwind deep traumas within my being that I was judging myself for. But with this energy source, I'm now able to look at these situations, look at these energies, connect with these emotions, and offer, in the Buddhist tradition, it would be mindfulness. I'm offering mindfulness to these emotions so that they can blossom. And so Lightcraft is here to teach people how to do this and this is coming from I'm not a Christian. I believe in Christ. I can tell you that because I've had a deep connection form with Christ.
Oh, I think Christ was gay and Mary Magdalene was a lesbian, and they had a whole nother thing and it got suppressed. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they were free love. They were like, and the hippie part of what they were doing. In fact, a lot of historians think that he did mushrooms based on the art that's in most of the big temples and not temples, churches around the world.
Yeah, 100%.
We have to have a conversation offline. We could probably talk 3 hours because I'm that
sure we can.
You so my niece is a trained psychotherapist, psychologist. Like, she got the master's degree, right? And she is starting to see that all the things she learned, it reinforces mental illness, that it's an illness instead of a state of being or a story.
Exactly.
My boyfriend has stood for his schizophrenic brother for so many years that now the brother is no longer schizophrenic.
100%.
And that's a tough one. That's one where, they're hearing things. So that's like, I've never heard things before. I just shattered too fast in my brain, which people call bipolar, and you need to be on meds forever. And finally, with Juan's help, like, we realized the meds were just making me depressed.
Yeah.
So I take an occasional sleeping pill, which I might tonight or something, but like, that's it. I just need to always exercise, drink water, slow down. It's a story. Mental illness is a story. Addiction is a story. And these are things that the world wants to hold on to and fight for. I was an alcoholic. Now I'm not. I choose to just, if I want to have a glass of wine, I can. But at some point I was drinking half a bottle of tequila every morning.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? We are capiching. Like, I get your thing. And I think you could create a worldwide movement within Uniting for Action.
Right. And that's exactly what we're doing. So, and I'm now connecting with so many different people. And TikTok, for example, I'm about to be going on TikTok, my Instagram, my own personal website, the YouTube, Uniting for Action.
You really have to do them all. Yeah.
I'm going to be blasting all this information out. And that's exactly what I want to shine the light on too, because the whole thing with the modern day psychological and psychiatric industries is that they are reinforcing mental illness by, like how you said earlier, the power of the word. By the spells that we speak and the way that we communicate, we construct our reality. And so this is why I want to completely redefine what healing is as well, because there's so much. I've seen that is another trap where people can get stuck in this loop of like, I'm healing, I'm healing, I'm healing.
Yeah.
And to the point where it's like, how do we break that loop and just feel like we aren't damaged anymore, and that we're in the light? So, and of course, life is a journey and we're always evolving, but it's changing the narrative so that we completely eliminate the victim and victimizer whole illusion of what is occurring. I mean, I know so many people who are in domestic violence, abusive situations, and I've myself have been in toxic relationships, and I have seen firsthand repeatedly that all of these toxic relationships, it's an interplay of the forces within each person. And so they're the victim and victimizer thing. People are feeling, that's a whole deep concept where people are victimizing themselves by the way that they're narrating and the way they're holding their own power. And that's why this philosophy, this is something that as it's come through me, it's been something that I can fully hold a torch to, and like I'm ready to shine this to the world, and I already am. And the reason I'm able to do that so confidently is because
and so articulately. You're gonna trigger the least amount of people now with your message, because you're such a clear vessel of truth. I read a quote today that, like, truth, when you hear truth, you know it, even if you don't have the facts to back it up. There's a alignment that happens, and that's what's going on right now with the vaccines and pharmaceutical industries, and the book that I got about Fauci and what's been happening since the AIDS crisis to promote a drug that wasn't the cheapest and wasn't the best.
Totally. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And that thing within you that resonates with the truth, that's exactly what we need right now. But that is part of what Lightcraft does as well, is it teaches you how to connect with your truth so that you can connect with the truth within another human being. For example, I was listening to, I'm living with a mother and a child, some of my friends.
Yeah.
And as I was listening to my friend speak to her daughter, I was able to tap into the inner child within my friend. And when I tapped into that inner child, I felt a huge wave of compassion come over me. And this is like learning how to truly hear, learning how to truly speak. There's so many, this is breaking ground. What Lightcraft is bringing to the table is so far beyond what the modern psychological industries are aware of and what they're teaching and what they're preaching. I mean, I have so much gratitude for people like Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung and many others who have paved the way till this point. But what I see what is happening, and it is really a quantum leap. There is a quantum leap happening because the information that I'm presenting with Lightcraft, it's just beyond. It's beyond these concepts and these dynamics that are being spoken on in a modern psychological sense. So that's why I'm creating my own platform, so I can just speak freely. And the light attracts people. It attracts the right people.
Yeah. And light, I'm sorry to interrupt. Juan tells me all the time, you and Juan need to talk. I'm like, God, you sound like Juan, the guy you just met. He always has explained to me, because I'm like, I think that I was studying when I went down the Q rabbit hole, which a lot of it was rumor and was started by the Republicans to make like the Democrats look bad. So I went down that rabbit hole as a Christian, as a modified Christian.
Sure, the coffee helps with that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I began to reach out to people that were experts in satanic torture. Like, there's a foremost expert that was on a podcast that does exist, even if it's two people have grabbed a kid and put them naked and had them run through the trees and hunted them and killed them and tortured them. That has happened. Has it happened like as free? So I had to get my brain around, if I'm going to have the Christ consciousness, I need to forgive that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like, and so what Juan always says, sorry, the punchline of what I was trying to say was, he always says, Kat, darkness is just the lack of light. And I was like, no, but it's wrong. And if you're doing that intentionally, then you're really fucked up. And he's just, no, it's the absence of light.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is actually something that I started to witness within my own consciousness shift as well. Because when I left high school, and I was watching documentaries, Zeitgeist, and all this stuff. I had
Oh,
more
yeah.
of this evolutionary spirit. I
Mhm.
had more of this like tear down the
Switch to
government type
water.
of energy.
I'm
There
gonna
you go.
switch to water.
Is it
Okay.
tea? Is it?
This is actually it's got vitamin C in it.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. I thought it might have been apple cider vinegar too.
Oh yeah, I actually I was taking apple cider gummies for a while, but I think they have too much sugar. I need to actually let me make a note of that just to
Yeah,
because I know it's really good for you.
it does. It helps your digestion for sure.
Oh, good.
And by the way, it's LIGHT, light craft.
Oh no, but I was just recommending if you were open to a brand change.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
Probably not
So-
though. It would take away from it to spell it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll stick with light, LIGHT.
Mhm.
But that is actually a major transition that occurred for me as well. Is realizing that the people who are you could say the most depraved, the people who are the most sick,
Like Dahmer.
like
Dahmer.
right, sure, who actually grew up in my home state.
I am also did Jared, did you realize
Ohio?
that you hired 2 Wisconsins? People, oh, I thought he was Wisconsin. Okay, he was Ohio.
I think what I understand is he at least went to school in Ohio, because my high school history teacher said that he was on the same bus as that guy, as him. Yeah.
Well,
so
I was living there as a teenager when it broke in the Milwaukee newspaper because I'm from Milwaukee. So he was in our town doing it.
Interesting. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that's all interesting. But it was a major transition for me to realize that, and the thing is you realize you're making a transition when your emotions change. And I now see the government with compassion. I actually love the government. The government is
Me
something
too.
where I look at it and I'm like, man, I see that you're struggling, and I see what you're struggling with, and I just want to help you. That's all it is. I just want to help you. I just want to optimize you, because nobody wants to suffer. And I can see that the government is creating its own suffering. And it's like, oh, you just need help.
Yes.
That's all you
Well,
need.
but I still have a distrust of the World Economic Forum. I'm going to get that on the record on tape.
Sure. Well, I mean, when people lack integrity, or if people's actions show you that they are destructive and they might act in those types of ways,
Or
then
greedy.
it's logical to be aware of that and to approach the situation with that prerequisite knowledge. You know, which
Beautiful.
also, light is based off of logic as well. That's part of the whole philosophy, is that logic and light are actually the same thing. That in
Wow.
order to build Jacob's ladder, or in order to build the bridge to heaven, that it has to be on solid foundations. And by solid foundations, there's a logic to it. Things make sense. Reality makes sense. The way to get to source consciousness is a path of logic. It's a path of understanding. It's a path of compassion. All these things are rational. They have reason to them. That's why I see logic as actually a very spiritual science. The more logically we can think, the less cognitive dissonance we have, which means the less times we're running into ourselves, and we can be in unity and be in integrity because we're logical. We're following a system.
We're like Spock.
Yeah, that archetype, exactly. That's a very real archetype. And not to say that emotions, of course, the emotional side of things is very important as well. But it's as I connect to the light more and more, it's being able to feel my emotions, witness my emotions, and also question my emotions, because I see that my emotions can be based off of false pretense. I might feel really offended by something, but if I look at the root of why I'm feeling offended, it's actually illogical. So that's where the logical mind can really come in. And I won't be just a sail in the wind with my emotions and just like, losing control of myself.
I'm a groupie, man. You're going to be getting a lot. You're going to get $30,000 worth of free marketing and advertising from me just knowing you over the next 5 years. But Jared, how did you guys meet? Like, Jared knows the most extraordinary people.
Well,
like Burge is personal friends with Esther Hicks, one of my big I love her. So how did you meet Dana? Or Dana or Dana?
Dana. Yeah.
Dana, cool. I like that. It's kind of a chick's name. That's very metrosexual. I love it.
Yeah, it's a unisex. Yeah.
That's great. Angie connected me with George and the Purpose Alliance, and I went to the Purpose Alliance meeting last week, the first one.
Oh my
and
God.
Dana was there. We'd actually
Oh my
seen each
God.
other in
Wait,
the
I
chat.
thought you were in Bali, or you're in Bali now, and you were here last week.
We
No,
met virtually.
virtually.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how did that happen? Okay, got it. Okay, so is that something I could participate if I have, if I'm not drinking coffee and holding 2 jobs at the same time?
You should be a part of the Purpose Alliance. Actually, you're definitely one of the people that I was thinking about inviting in early
Yeah,
on. So for
anytime
sure.
after March 11th, because I really owe this job everything. I work for a great company. It's a
That's
Fortune
amazing.
500.
I love your energy, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, Jared and I have started to discuss a corporate program with my company being the beta test, offering membership value for the consumer employees of a company for a large fee,
Right.
much like a healthcare package. You follow me? And our
Yeah.
company specializes in helping brokers who are liaisons, right? Essentially, a broker is a liaison, similar to real estate or anything. They know all the people that sell health insurance around the country, and they service those people. And my boss was like head of Ogilvy Mather Advertising as the CFO, not my boss, the CEO, who's now the CEO of Benefit Mall, which has 1,000 employees. It's $1 billion company. So can you imagine having all your things alive and well in one company as a beta test? Right? Like you kind of like, don't even worry about promoting it to anyone else. Like get all those people so like more and more enrolled, in stages with tiers of pricing in your thing.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
you can have this kick ass problem solution results case study. And then we just focus on corporations knowing about your work, because consumer marketing is expensive and time consuming and kind of exhausting.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so funny that you mentioned the $30,000 thing, because my sister's getting married in June, and I've made it my goal that when I'll likely fly back to America to be a part of this, and that is the number that I chose to have in my bank account when I arrive.
See, look at that!
So,
look at that!
there we go. Yeah.
When I met Jared, I was definitely broke, right? And I come from money, but my parents cut me out of my trust fund in many ways because of my manic depression. They couldn't take it anymore, right?
Okay.
And I had an episode at 17, like I told you, a depressive episode, and then I didn't have anything my whole life, super successful marketing career, till 5 years ago when I met Juan, who doesn't believe in mental illness. And I kept fighting for the story, but I'm sick. I wouldn't say that, but he'd say, the way you're talking about yourself, you keep reinforcing that you're not well. You follow me? So he finally got me to like, and now I'm back in contact with my brother and sister, and my dad will come around or he won't. But he believes that I'm not well. My dad believes I'm not well. And and the language that my dad speaks is business and money. So now my brother already knows that I'm working on multi-million-dollar deals. And this all started since I met Jared. So there's something happening here.
There you go. That sounds like some really deep healing happening there. And that money connection with you and your father seems to be a major pipeline. And Jared, I want to be mindful of your time as well. If you need to go, please just let us know. But I have a little bit more time. But that pipeline with your father, with the money dynamic, that sounds like the way that as you grow and heal yourself in that way, your father will then be able to find resonance with you, and you'll be able to represent yourself in such a way where you've really stepped out of his narrative, and then he'll be left with his own storytelling about what reality is and who his daughter is and this type of thing. Meanwhile, you'll show up in this like really high vibe and like, yeah, like I'm doing amazing, how are you doing? And it'll it's a mirror to be shown to him, where he'll be like, oh wow, like what
happened to her?
She looks like she's doing amazing. She's doing amazing. What's happening here?
Actually, I envision before the end of the year, because he's also a professional trumpet player and he's 86. And my mom died last year and I wasn't invited to the funeral. That was traumatic for me. And I finally cried 2 weeks ago, again, since meeting Jared, because I watched the convoy of the Canadians and the world. And when I cried, I started sobbing about my mother. And then I called my brother and sister and we made up. And so my brother's now coaching me on how to sell. He's like, talk half as much, lower your voice, listen. And so now we're starting to like, we're going to maybe have a weekly coaching thing, and I'll go over my deals and role play, and that's going to get back to my dad.
Yeah.
So that's enough for me. But I do want him to live to 100, and we can have a friendship and have lunch again. He lives in Naples in a penthouse, a $1.5 million penthouse. So yeah, we have a lot of things we can do together.
Yeah. The last thing that I want to touch on here is this concept of mental illness, because as I've started to enlighten myself, I've started to achieve enlightened consciousness within my own being. I've started to understand what mental illness really is. And I used to be really resistant to mental illness. I used to be like, there is no such thing as mental illness. But
oh, really? Because I've been buying the whole I think at some point when I was 17, because I did a Rachmaninoff concerto and I was an overachiever and I overdid it. I actually took 10 caffeine pills, and that's what caused it. So it's funny that you pointed out the coffee, because now I'm remembering that. That's what caused it. But the doctors just labeled it as sick, got me lithium back then. And, you know.
Yeah, there is something that wanted me to point that out for sure.
Thank you.
So I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
Shine a light. But, you know, because what happened was I started to actually realize I did have mental illness, but it wasn't in the way that people were saying it was from the psychological industry. The way that I define mental illness is any belief or any energy within an individual which goes against their growth, their prosperity, or their happiness. So self-destructive energies, beliefs, and emotions where we don't believe in ourselves, we feel bad about ourselves, we feel like we're not capable, like we feel all this stuff, that is a form of mental illness, because the natural state of a human being is to be confident, happy, healthy, connected, and enlightened is the natural state, because that is when we are connected to God. So what this did is this started opening up a whole doorway for me. You know, I really think we need to stop thinking about enlightenment as this like super far off thing. Enlightenment is actually when you're connected with source and God, and it's a continuous process. And you can feel it when it's happening. It's like, oh, my mind is literally becoming enlightened right now, because you
can actually feel it's a palpable vibration. Sorry to step on your words, because like now that I'm realizing, get off of caffeine, like slow down, don't step on people. The three of us, you can feel very high vibration. So I'd say that I would declare, which is a landmark thing, I would declare right now that we are enlightened and there's always room for more. But let's bring people and do a holding of the hands as we bring, you know, clean water, food security, housing security, and inspired work to the world, which will clean the environment. Those are all we need.
Yeah, we're not meant to be living in the fight or flight all the time. We're not meant to be living in scarcity all the time. We're not meant to be living with these core woundings all the time. And that's actually this all opened up the doorway to the concept of exorcism for me, and the concept of like spiritual parasites and energy leakages and all this stuff, because I started to realize when I tapped into my own this illness that I could sense within myself. When I was on my 28-day water fast, I started becoming so aware of everything around me, everything within me. I mean, I recognized energetic like devices is what they felt like on my energy body. And for example, one was like over my face, and I could actually feel it. I could feel this. And as I started to heal this, which is where the technique started to intuitively come to me through my connection with God and on how to heal myself properly, this opened up the doorway of exorcisms. And Kat, are you still there?
Yeah, I just had to shift in my chair and sorry, I'm trying to come back. Hold on.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Jared has me conscious that when I'm on camera, because I'm already such a Speedy Gonzalez, to at least be like, what do you call it? Stationary. So
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So this, because I did have a connection with Christ consciousness that occurred back in December, but the exorcism thing started opening up far before that. But basically what I'm saying is, by speaking the truth, by speaking with clarity, that is a major tool to clear what could be called demonic energies, which also could just simply be called irrational belief systems, so on and so forth. It's irrationality. It's things that, it's a system of belief that goes in on itself. And when you choose to believe in that, you will cause disruption in your body and your life and so on and so forth. So there's all these techniques now that are coming out through my personal channel and through others we're learning how to actually like energetically move this stuff, which is bringing back these like laying on hands. I've had amazing experiences with laying on hands. I had this is where the magic part really comes in, because when you start to just move energy, and this is why qigong is really, really, I think, present in my field. You start to understand how to move qi, how to move energy, prana, then you can achieve things that would have thought to have been fantasy by the mainstream narrative, which is also a big part of my process. Is that I grew up in a haunted house. I grew up in a house that definitely had paranormal, supernatural activity.
Seriously? That's kind of cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's taken me a while to like come to.
I know it's real because I went on a haunted tour up in North Florida. I can't even think of the city. It's like an island, Amelia Island. And they have a thing, and we were at a house that was known for that. And we were hoping for that. And I swear a ghost touched my foot real delicately, because we picked a place that supposedly it was only happy children. Right. So I think a little happy girl touched my foot in a Amelia Island bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is all that stuff started opening up for me, and there's all this it's a spiritual science that's coming through. So if you know anybody that would like one-on-one work, or
my niece, because she's unhappy, and now she has this expensive degree in all the traditional, and if she could eventually make 6 figures as working for you, she's a model, she's gorgeous, she's amazing, and she's been in that old model, which is why my whole family was like, oh, she's sick, she's not well. Like now everything's changing. So that would be an amazing person to speak to you. And like, it's a win-win for me, because the more she learns about what you're saying, the more she can get it in my family, who has always been like, the doctor is the God, listen to the doctor.
Yeah. And then you can get a referral bonus as well. I'd be happy to referral bonus, and these deals are being constructed basically as we speak as well. So definitely go ahead and speak to your sister. You just opened up my mind as well on this whole demographic of people who went through psychological training through the modern day system, and feeling disenfranchised and like something isn't quite right. So that's a whole demographic that I can focus on.
I told you $30,000. I just did it on the call.
Yeah. What did you do?
No, I'm just saying, like, that market is worth at least X amount of dollars. And just, you see how this works is that didn't take me energy. I don't feel that I was used or exploited for my talent. I just shared it because sharing is caring, and we can all make money based on what Jared's creating. I mean, you're going to have to build all the fancy algorithms, Jared, but that's, or not, because we can just keep partnering with people. Like we can eventually partner with like TEDx. You should give a TEDx speech. And then that's another thing that's going to be one of my services when I can even get out of real estate and just do this, is what I see. But what I was going to say is I'm helping a celebrity right now get TEDx Chicago. He's in a movie called Something Borrowed, and he's my real estate coach. So that happened since meeting Jared. I keep saying since meeting, like there's BJ. Oh, that's terrible, BJ. But before Jared and after Jared, AJ. After Dominique.
So funny.
Oh my gosh. What was I just talking about?
We can make it BU and AU.
Yeah, because I don't like BJ.
Before uniting for action. And
there you go. There you go. But what was I just talking about?
I can't take credit. We have to keep using, Jared is the container that is all of us, right?
Okay, that's great. You're being humble.
Like it's life expressing itself through all of us, right? And so it's not Jared. It's not Jared. It's not Jared.
It's we the people. It's we the people. And you're right about government. Government is we the people, but we stopped paying attention, didn't we?
Yeah. It's like it's almost like the scapegoat actually at this point. Like, oh, it's the government's fault. It's like, oh, interesting. Because last time I checked, we have personal responsibility and personal autonomy.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
So then all the corporations got all the power, which I'm now realizing happened for a reason. Because if we as Uniting for Action start to have corporate clients, maybe they were supposed to not pay taxes and have all the money so that it could go that way. Because Google on the consumer side, you have to have, I was just helping a guy who wants to start a new painting website and he wants to compete with Angie's List, but he's got a whole nother way of doing it by zip code. And he said that he found out that they're spending $300,000 a month at Angie's List on marketing.
Wow.
So this is a way to
month. Oh my God. See, these are the types of clients that I'm very interested in. People who just have like so much money, they don't know what to do with it because there's so much inefficiency that's happening on these higher levels. And it's like that's a big part of my mindset as well, is making systems as efficient as possible. So the highest quality with the lowest cost and just the most intelligently designed. So I'm looking forward to
connecting with that, as you know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm beat, guys. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you, Dana. Give me an email about all your stuff. Well, no, let's wait till Jared puts it on the thing and then we'll meet on the thing, because we should be on the thing now. What's it called? Slack.
Slack.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
yeah, let's communicate on Slack.
Cool. And just for your information, Catherine, too, I'm going to be doing another webinar soon. So if you know of anybody who would like to be a part of that, please just let them know, and I'll be sending you information about that.
I would. And how much does it cost?
The last entrance fee was $30, so it'll likely be somewhere around there.
Okay, can you comp me if I promise you marketing ideas and things?
Yeah, we can come to an arrangement. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if you bring people on and there's referral bonuses and stuff, then there
I'll
you go.
invite my niece. It's my niece, not my sister. I'll invite my niece. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think your niece would be a perfect candidate to come on and feel this energy and to
definitely. And I'm not even going to pitch it like, oh, it's not Western medicine. I think the perfect thing is just invite her and say, this would enrich your business. And then we can start. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Said. So if you know, okay. So Dana, that is amazing. Like what you have, the more I hear, the more I want to know. So much, I'm so enrolled that I could see a day where just Juan does real estate, or we don't need to do real estate because it's fun and it's making me money now. But like, I want to do what you do. So why I said that is I've always wanted to do plant medicine retreats, but like high-end celebrity luxury, like a $25,000 a night one where we have just the most exclusive people, and then make it so top-notch, vegan chef, a whole week in Costa Rica, all over the world, and I think I'm going to do that through Uniting for Action, but you would be like a great guest speaker for that, because we're going to rotate musicians and plant medicine people, and you'd be in the high-end rotation. Let me name drop right now, because I know one of the main plant medicine guys I know, his name is Armand Boutan. You're probably supposed to meet him, because he's been actually working with the US government Department of Veterans on it's public knowledge, so it's not okay. Yeah. And he's got mushrooms chocolate that he's giving to the veterans, and they're healing. And then he's doing MDMA, but pure MDMA, not cut on the street by some heroin or something. And they're getting better. So that guy, I know, I almost went into business with him 5 years ago, and he's in California. I bring him up because, let me breathe and think, we were going to do this thing, and he has done medicine ceremonies for Bradley Cooper and the one that he was in the movie with the and there's something happening with celebrities. And I
feel this too.
Yeah. So okay,
amazing. So yeah, I feel this very strongly as well. There's several different celebrity circles that I feel very energetically connected to, and I have for actually years at this point. And I'm now starting to attract people into my life and into my field who are directly connected to these circles. And so everything that you're saying, I am completely on board with. I would love to move forward with. I actually have a friend who is opening a business now that is specifically about space holding on a high-end level with these types of plant medicines. So I would love to potentially connect you and her. Sounds like you guys have a lot of really amazing similar visions.
Please.
yeah, I'm all about the high end stuff too, because it's like the government. When I look at Hollywood, there's several musicians. I mean, there's one that I'll just call out just energetically. Like, for example, there's a guy that I've really enjoyed his music and have felt it's like Machine Gun Kelly and Travis Barker and some of these types of people, where I believe that these people have an amazing light within them. I believe that they are really, really bright people, and they're like going through, like they're in that energy, like they're in like the Hollywood parties.
Well, to
and, like,
act really well, you need to work on yourself to be able to
Exactly.
dig deep
Yeah.
and do different characters.
Right. Yeah.
It all goes together. Like that would be the top tier. So I would choose corporate and celebrity before I choose trying to do the masses, and the masses will come. If you build it, they will come. And
Totally.
you need to kind of do all three, but like start where the cream is rich, you know?
Totally. So yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with whoever ends up coming into the field.
Okay.
My mindset is just to keep doing my thing and keep producing stuff. And I really have no attachment to any of it at this point, because I already, like, I feel
That's the
it's
key.
the
That's the
feeling.
key.
I don't, it really, I feel many connections, but at the same time, I'm just producing as much content as possible. That's the mode at this point. Produce content, show up, and let's just keep the ball rolling and see
That's
what
it.
happens.
That's
Yeah.
it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I have to do some work and then get some sleep. And thank you for reminding me that my first breakdown was from 1,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure,
absolutely.
for sure. But it was all meant to be, because now I look at everything that happened to me as a gift, because I am here to help people realize what you just said, if that makes sense. Like, I do not have anything going on that I had that. I just want to now manage myself away from that.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so happy to connect, Catherine, and looking forward to our next time. And in the meantime, I'll send you anything that comes to mind that would be
Okay,
useful.
great. Oh, give
Yeah.
me one more minute. I just want to check something for you. I want to see if Landmark has a center in Bali.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, Landmark, because they have 150 offices worldwide.
Okay.
Landmark Bali.
Aren't they virtual with their programs now?
Oh yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. It used to be face to face, but they're doing it online and they're getting better and better at that. So it doesn't matter. Yep.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've looked at the website a little bit, and there's so much potency here. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, honestly, I think what we're going to put together is the new and improved Landmark with you and Burge and all the stuff, like down the road.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Great to be with you guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
I appreciate
Bye,
you
bye,
guys.
bye.
Have a
Yeah,
great night.
Make sure to edit that, and thank you, Jared. I will always be more cognizant of your time, because I know video editing is extremely time consuming. So I do apologize.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
guys. Bye.